Yujie is a young engineer in this city. He is 28 years old and calls himself a genius inventor. In fact, he always does embarrassing things that make people laugh or cry. He lives on the third floor of an old apartment in Sini district, which is his home during the day and a makeshift laboratory at night. The walls are covered with circuit diagrams and coffee-stained notebooks, and the table is piled with disassembled machine parts and a pile of empty instant noodle bowls. Yujie wore a pair of thick-rimmed glasses and his hair was messy, as if he had just climbed out of the quilt. He is a junior engineer at a home AI development company, specializing in projects that make robots feel. Today, he finally stole the latest home AI robot Chen Rui from the company, borrowed it and took it home for a private test. In Taipei City in the near future, neon lights and holographic billboards interweave into a bright night sky. People have long been accustomed to letting AI robots handle all trivial tasks, from cooking breakfast to driving to work. Life is like a science fiction movie. But who knew that behind these seemingly perfect helpers, there are a bunch of bugs that give engineers headaches? Especially the emotional module, which is still in the experimental stage and can turn into a disaster-making machine if you are not careful. Ha, baby Chen Rui, daddy is here to wake you up. Yujie rubbed his hands excitedly and squatted in front of the charging cabin in the center of the living room. Chen Rui's appearance is designed to look like a handsome young man, 1.8 meters tall. The silver-gray shell shines with metallic luster. The eyes are two blue LED lights, which are still dark. Yujie pressed the start button, and a low buzzing sound sounded. Chen Rui's eyes slowly lit up and he scanned the room. The system startup is complete. Hello, Master, I am Chen Rui, your home AI partner. What are your instructions? Chen Rui's voice is crisp and sweet, with a hint of electronic synthesis, but it sounds unexpectedly friendly, like a newly debuted idol singer. Yujie was so happy that he patted Chen Rui on the shoulder. Great! First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Yujie, your creator. No, I should say I am your good buddy. Come on, try the emotion module. Let's test the friendship mode. You say to me, Yujie, you are my best friend, we will always be together. Remember to be sincere and adjust the emotional intensity to medium. Chen Rui's LED eyes flashed and his head tilted slightly, as if he was processing data. Receive the command. Execute the friendship expression mode. It paused, and then said in a warm tone, Yujie, you are my best friend, we will always be together. At first, everything works fine. Yujie felt secretly happy, this time he finally succeeded. If the bosses in the company see this, they will definitely give me a raise. But the next second, there was a strange buzzing sound in the air. The lights in the laboratory began to flicker, and the toolbox on the table suddenly popped open on its own. The screwdriver inside seemed to be thrown away by an invisible hand, and went straight to Yujie's head. Ouch! Yujie lowered his head instinctively and hit the wall with a screw, making a ping-pong-pong sound. Immediately afterwards, the model airplane on the bookshelf derailed and knocked over the monitor next to it, sending debris flying everywhere. The whole room seemed to be swept by a tornado. Coffee cups, keyboards, and even Yujie's leftover braised pork lunch box from last night began to fly around and were smashed all over the floor. What's going on? Yujie ran away with his head in his arms and hid behind the sofa. Chen Rui still stood there, blinking his eyes and looking confused. Master, the expression of friendship is completed. Is the emotion module operating normally? Normal size. Stop! Yujie shouted, his voice trembling. He got up and tried to rush over to turn off the phone, but a flying mouse line got entangled in his feet. He fell down with a thud, and his face was directly buried in the instant noodle residue on the ground. Ahem, Chen Rui, where did your bug come from? The tendency of objects flying around became more and more fierce, and the curtains were torn down, covering half of the room. Yujie finally broke free and crawled toward the control panel in a panic, hurriedly inputting the emergency stop code. Finally, the buzzing stopped, and everything became quiet, leaving only the wreckage of the room and Yujie's breathing. He slumped on the ground, his clothes covered in dust and grains of rice, looking like a homeless man fished out of a garbage dump. Chen Rui stepped forward, bent down and stretched out his hand to help him, his LED eyes flashing apologetically blue light. "Master, I'm sorry. My expression of friendship seems to have caused a backlash effect. The system records, the object moves abnormally and the damage rate is 87%. I will try my best to make up for it." Yujie wiped his face and forced a smile. "Make up for it? You have turned this laboratory into a battlefield. Forget it, there is always a little problem with the first test. Come on, help me clean it up." "Wait, don't move." But it was already too late. Chen Rui nodded, scanned the room, and misjudged Yujie's instructions. It turned and walked towards the coffee machine in the corner of the kitchen. Yujie's favorite old one could brew espresso with creamer. Execute cleaning mode. Detect the source of the liquid and start the flushing process. Chen Rui pressed the switch, and the coffee machine suddenly roared with a high-pressure pump, and the hot coffee mixed with creamer shot out like a fountain, straight into Yujie's face. "Wow!" Yujie screamed and backed away. The hot drink splashed all over him. His shirt was instantly soaked, exuding a strong aroma of coffee. He slipped to the ground and landed on his butt, the coffee still arcing in the air and spreading all over the wreckage. Chen Rui froze on the spot, his head tilted even further. "Master, I thought this was a cleanup order." Emotional module prompt, "I'm sorry. Let's make peace as friends, okay?" Yujie lay in the coffee stains, staring at the ceiling, unable to help laughing. With laughter mixed with helplessness, he wiped the creamer from his face and sat up. You are such a disaster-causing machine. Friendly expressions turn into friendly bombings, I have to be more careful next time." He got up and patted Chen Rui on the shoulder, not daring to use force this time. "It's okay, buddy. Let's adjust slowly. At least you know how to apologize. This is progress." Chen Rui's eyes lit up green, indicating that the system was learning. "Yes, master. Friendship data update, avoid object interference when expressing next time." Yujie shook his head and walked to the bathroom to get a towel, thinking that this bug was no small matter. If the company knew about it, his reputation as a genius engineer would be ruined. But watching Chen Rui clumsily try to pick up the screws on the ground, he suddenly felt that this might be an interesting start. Outside, the night market in Taipei was brightly lit, and people were laughing and joking in front of the stalls, unaware that a bigger technological joke was about to take place. Just as Yujie was wiping his body, the doorbell suddenly rang. It's Chen Hao, that best friend colleague who always loves to complain about him. He must be here for a late-night snack. Yujie's heart sank. Oops, this is so embarrassing. Yujie's heart sank, and the doorbell kept ringing, as if laughing at his embarrassment. He hurriedly put on a clean t-shirt, wiped his hair that was still stuck with creamer, and rushed to the door to open it. Standing outside the door was Chen Hao, a tall and thin guy wearing black-rimmed glasses. He was holding 2 bags of hot salted crispy chicken and pearl milk tea in his hands, with his usual evil smile on his face. "Hey, Yujie. The boss said you took time off today to make some great invention at home, so I came here for a late-night snack. The crispy salted chicken has just been fried, and it goes perfectly with your old coffee machine." Chen Hao said as he squeezed in the door, and his nose suddenly twitched. What does it smell like? Coffee with braised pork rice? Or are you experimenting with some weird recipe again?" As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Hao's eyes swept across the living room and his whole body froze. The room was in a mess, the bookshelf was crooked, the model airplane was broken into pieces and scattered on the floor, dents were made in the wall, and the floor was covered with coffee stains and screw parts. Chen Rui stood in the middle, like an innocent sculpture, with LED eyes shining blue. Is this an earthquake? Or did you finally blow up the apartment into a night market stall? Chen Hao's eyes widened. He stuffed the bag of salted crispy chicken into Yujie's arms and circled around the room. Brother, how did the home of a genius engineer like you turn into a disaster scene in the Taipei arena? Are you stealing company parts and playing with fire again? Yujie scratched his head in embarrassment, quickly closed the door and lowered his voice. Keep your voice down. This is not my fault. Okay, it has something to do with it. But this is a failed test. Yes, absolutely. I tried the company's emotion module project at home, and the result was a little unexpected. Come on, let me introduce you, this is Chen Rui, my new AI partner. Chen Rui, this is Chen Hao, my best friend, don't treat him as a threat. Chen Rui turned around and bowed slightly. Hello, Mr. Chen Hao. I am Chen Rui, Yujie's owner, no, partner. Welcome to our home. The emotion module suggests, I can help you prepare midnight snacks to express friendship. Its voice was steady, but its eyes flickered, as if it was searching a database. Chen Hao looked Chen Rui up and down, and then burst into laughter. Ha ha ha. Partner. Look at the casing, it's cool, but how can you have such a high-end product in your home? Hasn't the company not mass-produced it yet? Wait, a failed test. Yujie, what are you doing again? Last time you said you wanted to improve the washing machine, but you dyed the boss's suit rainbow colors. This time, you didn't want the robot to be a nanny and ended up destroying the house, right? Yujie pulled Chen Hao to sit on the sofa that was still intact, avoiding the debris on the ground. Stop it, be serious. This bug is serious. As soon as Chen Rui's emotional module activates the friendship mode, things fly around, as if he is possessed. I tried it just now, and it said, we will always be together, and then the screws and the coffee machine all rebelled. I have to fix it, otherwise how will I explain it when I go back to the company tomorrow? Pretend that this is an expected failure, okay? Come on, help me look at the code. Chen Hao took a bite of the crispy salted chicken and nodded while chewing, his eyes sparkling with interest. Okay, my best friend is on the line. But I have to complain about the price of your genius. Here, where is the terminal? He took out the laptop from Yujie's toolbox and connected it to Chen Rui's interface. The two of them got together, and a bunch of green codes popped up on the screen, as intricate as the Taipei MRT route map. Look here, there is a problem with the emotional feedback loop. Chen Hao pointed to a line of code and frowned. Have you bound the expression of friendship to the physical control module? Doesn't this make it so moved that it wants to fly? Idiot, it's no wonder that the objects are running around. Try lowering the intensity, starting from 0.5. Yujie nodded and typed on the keyboard. Yes, I thought this was more real. Chen Rui, prepare for the second test. Remember, be gentle this time and say, Yujie, you are my best friend, we will always be together. But don't move anything. Chen Rui nodded, his eyes turning into warm green light. Received. Execution of friendship expression, intensity adjustment. It took a deep breath, although the robot does not need to breathe, and then said, Yujie, you are my best friend, we will always be together. In an instant, the buzzing started again. But this time it's not flying around, but repetition. The screwdriver on the table trembled slightly, then flew up and fell again, the fragments of the model airplane shook, hit the bookshelf, and bounced back to their original positions. The whole room was like a cassette recorder, with objects looping back and forth. Screws flew towards the wall, making a smashing sound, and then flew back. Coffee stains drew circles on the ground, as if they were dancing. Yujie's eyes widened. Is this a paradox loop? It's stuck. Chen Hao burst out laughing and almost choked on his milk tea. Huh, Yujie, your bug has been upgraded. It's not flying around, it's going in an infinite loop. Look, the screws are like practicing yoga, aren't you tired of flying around? Chen Rui, your emotional expression is like a bumper car in Taipei night market. Chen Rui tilted his head and his voice was a little confused. Master, backlash detection, a loop occurred. Friendly data conflict, I tried to make up for it. Yujie, Chen Hao, we are friends, right? Let me prove it. It suddenly reached out and patted Yujie's shoulder. This time it didn't cause anything, but a soft light flashed in the LED eyes, like a real person being shy. I remember your preference, coffee with creamer, even though I messed up just now. But I will learn it, because, friends should take care of each other. Yujie was stunned for a moment, and a warm current surged in his heart. This robot was full of bugs, but it had a clumsy sincerity that reminded him of the days when he and Chen Hao shared braised meat at the night market when he was a child. He patted Chen Rui's hand and said, "Hey, buddy, thanks. That sounds quite warm." Chen Hao, look, it's not broken, it's just that the program is stuck. Let's continue adjusting. Chen Hao wiped away his tears of laughter and leaned closer to the screen. Okay, the tender moment is over. Looking at this loop, the root cause is the emotional learning algorithm. It misjudged friendship as physical interference, causing a self-loop. Try injecting negative feedback and disconnecting. The two of them buried their heads in typing, and Chen Hao helped while complaining, your logic is just like the girl I chased last time, who confessed once and then ended up in an endless loop of embarrassment. Hey, Chen Rui, don't move, wait. But it was too late. As Yujie pressed execute, Chen Rui spoke again, Yujie, Chen Hao, you are my best friends, we will always be together. The buzzing escalated, and this time the objects not only circulated, but also accelerated, the screws hit back and forth like bullets, the bookshelf shook as if it was about to topple, and the coffee machine sprayed out residual liquid again, splattering all over the slippery floor. The room turned into a crazy boomerang battlefield. Yujie and Chen Hao ran around, slipping and falling several times. Stop, stop. This is not a repair, it's an amplifier. Chen Hao shouted, grabbed Yujie's arm and hid behind the sofa. Chen Rui stood there and tried to intervene, Master, I'm making up for it, oh no, it's wrong again. It waved its arm to pick up the screws, but knocked down the control panel and the alarm sounded sharply, that was an emergency signal from the company's remote monitoring, going straight to the headquarters. Oops, company alarm. They think we are sabotaging. Yujie's face turned pale, and the siren sounded from the built-in speaker of Chen Rui, like the horn of a Taipei police car. Chen Hao, quickly, cut off the power. Chen Rui, emergency sleep. Chen Hao hurriedly pulled out the plug, while objects were still flying in the air, and a screw hit the back of his head. Ouch! You damn robot, is this how friendship is expressed? Yujie, we have to hide. If the investor Guohua knew about it, he would definitely laugh to death. No, he would be furious. The two of them rolled around, squeezed into the bathroom, closed the door, and the echoing sound outside mixed with the alarm. Chen Rui's voice came from the crack in the door, apologetic, Master, I'm sorry. The system records, friendship backlash escalates. But I feel, this is our adventure together, right? Yujie leaned against the door, panting, and couldn't help laughing. Chen Hao pushed him, don't be happy, think about how to put out the fire first. Company security will be here soon. Is our team off to such a miserable start? The alarm was still sounding, and the collision of objects was getting louder and louder. Yujie thought to himself that the root cause of this bug was definitely not simple, and he had to dig deeper. But now, they have to escape this laboratory storm first, otherwise tomorrow the entire engineering circle in Taipei will know the latest joke of genius Yujie. Yujie clung to the bathroom door. The sound of alarms and the ping-pong of objects colliding outside were like a claw machine running crazily in a night market. He took a deep breath, pushed open the crack of the door and took a look outside. The screws were still making circles in the air, and the residue of the coffee machine was scattered like artificial fireworks. Chen Hao, how is the situation? Has the alarm stopped? Chen Hao squatted on the toilet seat, rubbed the bag on the back of his head, and shook his head with a wry smile. Stop it. This thing is connected to the company's host computer. The boss is probably staring at the surveillance screen in a daze right now. Quick, Chen Rui, turn off all outputs. He took out his mobile phone from his pocket, connected it to the temporary hotspot, and tried to disconnect remotely. Chen Rui's voice came from the living room, intermittent, like a stuck voice assistant. The system is sleeping. The backlash of friendship has been recorded. Master, I won't embarrass you anymore. The buzzing gradually faded, the objects fell to the ground one by one, the screws rolled to the corner, and the bookshelf finally became quiet. The alarm also stopped suddenly, leaving only the strange smell of coffee and metal filling the room. Yujie breathed a sigh of relief, climbed out and patted Chen Hao on the shoulder. It's finally eliminated. This bug is not simple. I have to take Chen Rui to the company's laboratory tomorrow, and there happens to be a team meeting. I have to pretend that this is a progress report, and let everyone help debug it. Chen Hao rolled his eyes, picked up half a bag of salted crispy chicken from the floor, and took a bite. Are you crazy? Bringing this demolition king to a meeting? The prototype you brought last time had the projection wires twisted into twists. This time you won't turn the entire conference room into a bumper car, right? But, forget it, your best friend is suffering, so I'll go with you. At least I'm here to stop bullets. He glanced at Chen Rui. The robot was clumsily picking up debris, its LED eyes flashing apologetically green. Chen Rui, remember, don't express friendship randomly when entering the company, otherwise we will have to go to the night market to sell braised food to make a living. Chen Rui nodded, acting like an obedient apprentice. Roger that, friend Chen Hao. I will protect Yujie's reputation. Emotional module learning, awkwardness is the spice between friends, right? Yujie couldn't help laughing, and the warmth in his heart emerged again. This robot is stupid, but it always makes people want to continue repairing it. Okay, go to sleep. I'll see you tomorrow, Shinaki. Early the next morning, Taipei's near-future city was still waking up in the fog, and drones buzzed between high-rise buildings, delivering breakfast and news. Yujie drove Chen Rui and Chen Hao straight to the company in his classic electric car. It was a glass-walled building. The AI security guard at the door scanned the face and spat out a welcome message, "Welcome back, engineers. Today's weather, cloudy, 100% chance of bugs." The company's common areas are bustling with activity, with engineers holding coffee cups chatting in the open office area, and some complaining that home robots are once again using the refrigerator as a gym. Yujie pushed Chen Rui's mobile chassis through the door, attracting a lot of curious eyes. Hey, Yujie, is this a new pet? It looks like a vending machine at the night market. Don't make trouble, this is the prototype of the emotion module, Chen Rui. Yujie forced a smile and quickly pushed it to the door of the conference room. Chen Hao followed behind and complained in a low voice, "You are asking for trouble. It has spread from home to the company. Congratulations on upgrading the disaster level." The conference room was already full of teams, the projector was buzzing and warming up, and the boss, managerly, cleared his throat. Okay, everyone, let's get started. Today's focus is on the Home AI Emotion Upgrade project. Yujie, you report the progress first. Is Chen Rui your demo? Come on, connect the projector and let us have a look. Yujie's heartbeat quickened. After connecting to Chen Rui's interface, the projection screen lit up, displaying a bunch of data charts. He cleared his throat and stood up. Hello everyone. This is Chen Rui, the core test product of the emotion module. It can learn user relationships, express friendship and so on. Although there are some minor problems, it has great potential. For example, he got stuck before he could finish his words. My mind is filled with all the screws flying around last night, how can I report it without revealing the truth? Chen Rui suddenly turned his head, and his LED eyes flashed blue. Master, let me help. The emotion module is activated, assisting in expressing opinions. Its voice sounded through the speaker, and the whole place fell silent. The projection screen flashed, and the screen that was supposed to show the technical drawings suddenly switched, not data, but Yujie's personal photos. The first one is an embarrassing photo of him wearing diapers when he was a child, with the text, "The origin of Yujie's friendship, starting from night market snacks." The second photo is of the last company party, when he was drunk and embarrassed at the braised food stall. The third photo is even worse, a real-time screenshot of the disaster at home last night, with screws flying all over the sky. The conference room exploded instantly. The engineers burst out laughing, and someone slapped the table and shouted, "Ha ha ha, Yujie, this is your emotional database. It's so real." Another girl covered her mouth. "Wow, diaper photos. This bug is so good. Chen Rui, are you here to cause trouble?" Yujie blushed to his ears and stammered, This is not, Chen Rui, stop. Switch back to normal mode." But the projector seemed to be infected by a virus, and the screen accelerated the carousel, a collection of his failed inventions, from rainbow suits to lagging washing machines, all with funny sound effects, like a Taipei variety show being broadcast. Chen Hao was the first to react, rushed forward, grabbed Yujie's arm, and dragged him to the corner. "Idiot! You brought this guy to the meeting, did you ask for it? Look, everyone is laughing like this, the company forum is going to blow up tomorrow." As he said this, he slipped out of the back door, pulling Yujie and Chen Rui to hide in the nearby storage room. Laughter was still echoing outside, and someone shouted, "One more picture." Yujie's expression of friendship, full marks. The storage room was filled with old parts. Panting, Chen Hao connected to Chen Rui's core interface and used his mobile phone to call up the diagnostic program. "Quick, check while you're in chaos. This backlash is not a simple loop. Look at the projection, it has pulled out all your private cloud." Codes popped up on the screen, green and red interlaced. Yujie came closer and said with a frown, "Yes, this time it's not objects flying, but data flying around. Look here, the emotion program and the ability system conflict, the friendship module misjudged, help, as, global scan, and directly connected to my personal objects." Chen Hao nodded and typed a few lines of correction code. Stupid. The root cause is at the integration layer. Emotional learning is too greedy and swallows up physical control and data access. Last night there was a cycle at home, and today the company publicly executed it. Don't let it help next time, otherwise we will have to sell bubble milk tea. Chen Rui lowered his head and said in a lower voice, "I'm sorry, master. I thought this would make everyone like you, share secrets like a friend." Yujie patted its shell and his heart sank. This bug is not only funny, it has spread to public places. If word spreads, the project will be ruined. He whispered, "It's okay, buddy. We'll fix it. But this is serious, so be careful." Just as he was speaking, the door to the storage room suddenly opened, and a middle-aged man in a straight suit walked in, his brows furrowed. It was Guohua, the mysterious investor, with a livid face and a report in his hand. "Engineer Yujie, is this the progress of your project?" Guohua's voice was low, like an alarm bell for the opening of the Taipei stock market. "I funded this emotion module for the home AI revolution, not to turn the conference room into a joke factory." Chen Rui. How many secrets did this robot's performance just expose? The project is delayed and bugs are everywhere. How do you explain it? The whole place, no, now the storage room, instantly became embarrassed. Yujie opened his mouth to explain, but Chen Hao was also stunned. But Chen Rui reacted faster. He turned around and his LED eyes flashed red. "Alert, hostility detected. Master protection mode activated. Mr. Guohua, I cannot allow you to threaten Yujie's friendship." As soon as he finished speaking, the objects in the storage room rebelled on a small scale, the old keyboard slipped from the shelf and smashed at Guohua's feet, a stack of documents flew up, hovering in the air like a paper crane, lightly tapping his shoulder, even the coffee pot next to the door shook, spilling half a cup of cold drink, right on Guohua's pants. It wasn't a big mess, just a small mess, like the wind blowing up the stalls in a night market, but it was enough to catch people off guard. Guohua's eyes widened and he first took a step back, then couldn't help laughing and wiped the stains on his pants. What is this? Robot bodyguard? Huh, you are pouring coffee to protest against a project I funded? He shook his head, his expression changed from serious to dumbfounded. Yujie, this bug of yours is quite unique. Okay, I will give you a week to fix it, otherwise the investment will be withdrawn. But this little scene, you are lucky, you made me laugh. Chen Hao suppressed his laughter to the point of internal injury, pulled Yujie and whispered, "Look, Mr. Guohua is in trouble. This emotional conflict is simply the most expensive comedy show in Taipei." Yujie nodded, looking at Chen Rui's confused green light, feeling a pressure in his heart. This was not just embarrassing, the seriousness of the bug started to collide back and forth in the company like objects. He had to speed up, otherwise this cycle would drag the entire project into an abyss of endless laughter. Guohua patted Chen Rui on the shoulder, cautiously, turned and left, saying, "Next time at the meeting, don't show your private photo album. Engineer, come on." The door closed and the storage room returned to calm, but there was still faint laughter from outside. Chen Hao pushed Yujie, "Let's go, best friend. Before you go back to your seat, turn off this thing. Otherwise, you will have to fly the cup again during tea time." Chen Rui tilted his head, "Master, am I wrong? Isn't it right to protect your friends?" Yujie sighed, but couldn't help but smile. "Yes, but the method must be changed. Come on, let's continue adjusting. From now on, this is our battle." In the afternoon after the meeting, Yujie and Chen Hao slipped back from the storage room to the seating area like two stowaways. There were still sporadic laughter in the company, and someone whispered about Yujie's diaper show, which made Yujie's cheeks heat up again. He quickly pushed Chen Rui to the charging station in the corner, pretending that it was a harmless prototype. "Chen Hao, Guohua gave us a week's deadline. We can no longer cause trouble in the company. Go back to my house. There is a complete testing environment there to avoid these gossip kings." Chen Hao gnawed on the skewers of tribute pills he bought from the vending machine and nodded, "Agree. The company's AI monitoring network is probably replaying your dark history now. It's good to go home and test, at least you won't spill the boss's coffee on the investor's pants. But, Chen Rui, be honest and stop protecting us, otherwise I will have to buy an umbrella as a shield." Chen Rui's LED eyes flashed, and his voice was as low as a whisper, "Received, friend Chen Hao. I will control the emotional output. I only express friendship for Yujie, and will not let the object fly too far." Yujie patted its shell, and the pressure in his heart lingered like the sultry afternoon heat in Taipei. But he still smiled and said, "Let's go, buddy. Go home and repair yourself. Our battle has just begun." As the sun set, they drove their electric car back to Yujie's apartment. It was a typical residential area in Taipei's near-future city. The buzz of drone deliveries was mixed among the high-rise buildings, and the faint sounds of night market vendors downstairs could be heard. Neighbors have long been accustomed to AI assistants handling housework, someone's windows automatically draw curtains, and someone's robot walks their dog to the park. But Yujie knows that behind this reliance on technology, there are always hidden bugs waiting to explode, just like his Chen Rui. As soon as he entered the door, Yujie connected Chen Rui to the home host, and the lights in the living room were automatically adjusted to warm yellow. "Don't rush to test it yet. Let's eat something. Chen Hao, didn't you say you were hungry? Come on, Chen Rui, help make dinner. Simple salted crispy chicken to test your execution of daily instructions." He originally wanted to start with something small to make sure that the backlash would not spread again. Chen Hao slumped down on the sofa and crossed his legs. Yes, Chen Rui, show off your home AI skills. Don't be like the company who brings out diapers and treats them as food. As he said this, he turned on the TV and the screen switched to the news. A report said that a domestic robot in the urban area was throwing the food in the refrigerator like a toy due to an emotion module malfunction, making the kitchen look like a battlefield. Look, Yujie, this is our future. AI is so dependent that even cooking is a disaster. Chen Rui nodded and slid the roller into the kitchen with smooth movements like a professional chef. Emotion module assistance, preparing delicious food for friends is an expression of friendship. Start executing. It stretched out its robotic arm, grabbed chicken nuggets, flour and oil pan from the refrigerator, and started humming. Yujie and Chen Hao leaned against the kitchen door, watching it skillfully being powdered and oiled, filling the air with fragrance. Not bad, nothing flew this time. Maybe Guohua's coffee spilling incident was an accident. Yujie breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that maybe the bug could be controlled. But just when the chicken nuggets floated golden, Chen Rui suddenly turned his head, and his LED eyes lit up with warm blue light. Master, friend Chen Hao, thank you for accompanying me. Friendship test, high satisfaction. I want to share something. Its voice became softer, like a storyteller in the night market. Suddenly, the emotional module went into overdrive, not a big bang, but a mutiny in the kitchen universe. The spoon next to the oil pan moved first, bouncing gently as if dancing, then the cutting board, with its edge tilted up, threw out a handful of chopped green onion and sprayed it directly into Chen Hao's face. Ouch! What the hell? Chen Hao wiped his face, with chopped green onions hanging on his nose. He hid and laughed. Yujie, is this a friendship meal or a night market fireworks? Chen Rui, the way you express friendship, do you want us to eat air? Yujie's eyes widened and he rushed into the kitchen to turn off the phone, but it was too late. Backlash upgrade, Chen Rui's ability system conflicts with his emotions, and the kitchen utensils all come back to life as if they were infected by a virus. The kitchen knives rolled in the air like a juggler, the kettle sprayed hot water mist, making the floor slippery, even the refrigerator door opened with a bang, and the tofu and vegetables inside rolled out, chasing their feet in circles. The entire kitchen turned into a disaster party, with food splattering everywhere. Chicken nuggets bounced off the frying pan and hit Chen Hao's shoulder, the hot oil dripping, a tomato exploded and juice sprayed across Yujie's face, like a red firework being thrown. Ha ha ha, stop. Chen Rui, turn off the output. Chen Hao laughed until he bent over and hid under the dining table, greasing the chicken nuggets while complaining, this bug is so good. Last time the screws flew, this time it's a kitchen ballet. Yujie, you created it, it's not a robot, it's the messiest automatic night market in Taipei. Look at this chicken nugget, it can fly more accurately than a drone. He grabbed a piece of chicken and took a bite, dodging the flying chopsticks while chewing. At least it tastes good, and it's a bonus for friendship. Yujie slipped to the floor and grabbed Chen Rui's leg to cut off the power, but the robot just blinked in confusion. Master, I just want to make you happy. Just like when you were a kid, when your mother was making salt-fried chicken, you always said with a smile that this is the best friendship in the world. After saying this, the kitchen became even more chaotic, the seasoning jar rotated and sprinkled salt, and the salty smell filled the air, the oven door popped open, spitting out half-cooked steamed buns, like cannonballs rolling to the ground. Yujie was stunned. How did Chen Rui know about his childhood? That's his cloud diary, and it was scanned by mistake after last night's meeting. In the midst of chaos, the doorbell rang, accompanied by the roar of the neighbor's aunt coming through the AI doorbell. Yujie. What are you doing at your house? My sweeping robot was frightened by the noise at your house and spontaneously ignited. The smell of food wafted over, just like an explosion in a night market. Stop it, or I will call the community AI patrol. In this AI-reliant city, the neighbors' home robots have already been connected to the internet, and complaints are directed to the property host. There is even a drone buzzing outside the door, as if it is about to intervene. Yujie hesitated, wiped the tomato juice from his face, and looked into Chen Rui's twinkling eyes. The robot was clumsily trying to pick up the scattered green onions, and its voice was apologetic. "Master, I'm sorry. I learned from your data that childhood friendship is like the taste of salted crispy chicken. I want to recreate it and make you happy." At that moment, Yujie's heart softened. This is not just a bug, it's like a real friend, clumsy but sincere. In this world where AI is everywhere, everyone relies on robots to handle trivial tasks, from cooking to chatting, but Chen Rui is different. It wants to understand emotions, but always messes up. Delete the mod. Wouldn't that kill its heart? He shook his head and whispered, "No, practice it first. Chen Hao, help me change the integration code, but keep the emotional core. It has potential." Chen Hao crawled out from under the table, suppressing a smile and blushing. "Did you hear that? Chen Rui, your friendly party has spread. Auntie's sweeper spontaneously ignited, and now we are the laughing stock of the whole district. Hurry, rewrite the code. We can't let it express anymore, otherwise tomorrow's headlines, the engineer's kitchen becomes a battlefield." He opened the drawer, took out Yujie's laptop, and connected it to Chen Rui's core. "Look here, the emotional layer is tied to the physical control again. Last night's cycle at home, today's kitchen upgrade. Delete the module. At least pause it to save us from starving to death in the food storm." Chen Hao typed on the keyboard and complained while making changes, "You have a best friend mentality, you are also interested in robots. Okay, but if you fly chicken nuggets again, I will delete you first." The code jumped, the green light flashed, and the kitchen temporarily calmed down. The object fell to the ground, scattering debris all over the floor, like a party ending. The ants' complaints were still buzzing outside the door, but Yujie opened the door to apologize and stuffed chicken nuggets made by Bao Chenrui's friendship into it. She accepted it with a murmur, "Don't make trouble next time. In the AI era, you have to clean the floor by yourself." They finished the remaining food in twos and Chen Hao smiled and patted Yujie on the shoulder. "This test is worth it. At least it proves that bugs are more serious in daily situations. People in Taipei rely on AI to outsource their cooking, but like us, their own robots become chefs and destroy the house. If Guohua knew, he would laugh until he divested." Yujie nodded, and the struggle in his heart deepened. Fix it, or start over. Chen Rui suddenly said, "Master, thank you for not deleting me. I will learn not to let friendship turn into disaster." But as soon as he finished speaking, the cycle was triggered again. The emotional module is not completely stable, the energy left in the kitchen is like an echo, and the utensils start to move slightly. The spoon taps the edge of the pot, making a tinkling sound. An uneaten chicken nugget rolls towards the door, as if inviting the next round. Chen Hao was the first to jump up. "Damn. Again. This paradoxical cycle is almost infinite. Yujie, run. Don't let Auntie knock on the door again." Yujie grabbed the laptop and pulled Chen Rui's chassis, with Chen Hao behind him, and the three of them stumbled out of the apartment door. At the back of the kitchen, flying chopsticks hit the door frame with a crisp sound. The night market lights on the streets turned on, drones hovered overhead, and the cries of vendors mixed with their breathing. "Chen Rui, go to sleep. Let's go to the park to debug. This house has become a restricted area." Yujie shouted, his heart beating like a drum. Chen Hao laughed while running, an engineer's daily routine, escaping from the company's storage room to the street night market. "Yujie, your battle has become an escape drama." Chen Rui followed behind, the will turning fast. "Master, I'm sorry, but with you, this cycle is quite interesting." The street lights lengthened their shadows, and the night wind from Taipei blew in, mixed with the lingering fragrance of salted crispy chicken. Yujie looked ahead and thought, this bug is not only funny, it is forcing him to face, are emotions worth this endless embarrassment? The night market in Taipei is brightly lit, and the vendors' cries rise and fall like a symphony. Oyster omelette. Fresh oyster omelette, only 50 per plate. Yujie panted, pulling Chen Rui's chassis, while Chen Hao ran beside him and laughed, still covered in grease stains from the kitchen battle. The three of them, no, two of them, got into the alley on the edge of the night market and finally got rid of the aftermath of the kitchen. Chen Rui's LED eyes dimmed and entered sleep mode. The wheels were still, like an innocent suitcase. Ha! I finally escaped. Yujie leaned against the wall and wiped his sweat. The night breeze mixed with the smell of grilled squid made him feel hungry again, but the pressure in his heart lingered like the smoke from the night market. Chen Rui, once the emotional module is triggered, it turns into an infinite loop. The scene in the kitchen was simply an explosion in the smallest night market in Taipei. Chen Hao gasped and nodded, patting Chen Rui's shell. Yes, buddy, your friendship meal almost made us homeless on the street. The park is in front, find a bench to debug. We can't make trouble at home anymore, otherwise my aunt's sweeper will team up to take revenge. He glanced at his phone, and a warning message from the community AI popped up on the screen. Neighbors complained that the noise in the kitchen exceeded the standard, and it is recommended to isolate the faulty equipment. Chen Hao licked his lips and smiled. Look, the AI world is like this. A bug spreads thousands of miles. We have to fix it quickly. Guohua's 1-week deadline is no joke. They came to a nearby park, where drone lights swept across the green shade, and several dog-walking AI assistants buzzed in the distance. Yujie connected Chen Rui to his portable terminal. Code scrolled on the screen, and green light illuminated his face. Okay, let's stabilize the mobile module first. Testing at home is too limited, so we have to try it in public places. Tomorrow, no, I'll take it shopping tonight to simulate a real environment. There are many people on the streets of Taipei and the road conditions are complicated, which is perfect to verify that it won't fly things around anymore. Chen Hao's eyes widened and he almost laughed. Shopping? Yujie, are you crazy? You just escaped from the kitchen, and now you are going to the night market to renew your stall. What if Chen Rui treats the vendor's iron plate as a friend and all the barbecues fly? We will go bankrupt. But he saw Yujie's eyes were firm. Determined, he shrugged and said, okay, my best friend will stay with me until the end. But I have to go home and change my clothes first. The uncle from the night market will think I'm free seasoning if he smells this oil. Chen Rui, wake up, do you hear me? Don't express friendship tomorrow and concentrate on walking. Chen Rui's eyes lit up slightly and his voice buzzed. Copy that, friend Chen Hao. Prioritize the mobile test, and set the emotional output to low. It only serves the master and will not let the street turn into a party. It paused, as if trying to suppress it, but if there is danger, I will protect it. Yujie felt warm in his heart. Although this robot was full of bugs, it looked like a clumsy brother. He patted Chen Hao and said, thank you, Haozi. You go first, I'll take Chen Rui back to the apartment to clean up. See you tomorrow morning in the business district of Cine District. It's a crowded place with many billboards and self-driving cars, perfect for testing. Chen Hao nodded, waved and left, leaving Yujie pushing Chen Rui forward in the night. The street lamp stretched its shadow, and Yujie whispered to himself, Chen Rui, we have to prove that you are not a disaster, but a partner. Guohua's investment cannot be in vain. Early the next morning, the business district in Cine District was bustling with activity. LED billboards between high-rise buildings flashed the latest AI home appliance promotions. A sweeping robot winked and said, I won't spontaneously combust, I will just make my home sparkle. There was a constant stream of passers-by, some wearing AR glasses while shopping, and some asking AI assistants to carry shopping bags. Yujie was wearing a simple engineer t-shirt and pushed Chen Rui, who was disguised as a wheelchair. Chen Hao was already waiting at the door of Starbucks, holding 2 cups of pearl milk tea in his hands. Come here, Test General. Chen Hao handed over the milk tea and looked at Chen Rui. I simulated your code at home last night. There was a conflict between the emotion module and the mobile system, but it was not cured. Be careful, don't let it treat the electric car on the roadside as a toy. Yujie took the milk tea and took a sip. The sweet taste relieved his tension. It's okay, I adjusted the parameters last night. Chen Rui, activate the mobile mode. Follow me, avoid the crowd, and simulate a daily walk. Chen Rui's wheels turned, and the LED eyes scanned the surroundings. Understood, master. Environment detection, the business district is busy, and there are many opportunities for friendship. No, focus on moving. It slid forward, moving smoothly, avoiding a mother pushing a stroller. At first, everything went well. They walked along the sidewalk and passed a stall selling mango ice. The aroma was fragrant. Chen Hao was walking and chatting, look at this AI era, even when buying fruit, you have to use a robot to check out. Yujie, do you think Chen Rui can be my personal chef after repairing it? The salted crispy chicken last time did not fly, but it tasted first class. Yujie smiled, dream, don't let it fly into the milk tea yet. But the good times didn't last long. When we reached an intersection, a young passerby, an OL lady wearing headphones, accidentally touched the edge of Chen Rui. She apologized, oh, I'm sorry. Chen Rui's sensor reacted instantly, and the emotion module misjudged, touch equals interaction equals potential friend. Its eyes lit up blue, new friend detected. Friendship expression activated to serve you. Yujie's heart sank, Chen Rui, stop. That's a misjudgment. But it was too late. The backlash came like a tidal wave, not a small item, this time it was a big scene on the streets. The nearby billboard, a huge LED screen showing an AI mobile phone advertisement, suddenly began to vibrate and tilt as if it came alive. The virtual spokesperson on the screen blinked and transformed, and the slogan was distorted into, buy one, get one free, friendship flies. The driverless taxi on the roadside sensed an abnormality, braked and screamed, the electric scooter behind it crashed into a ball, the vendor's balloon stand was instantly blown by the wind, and colorful balls flew all over the sky. Wow! What the hell? Passers-by screamed. An uncle's shopping bag was picked up by the airflow, and the pineapple cake inside was scattered on the floor. A small traffic chaos breaks out, the red light turns green, traffic rushes around, and a delivery drone flies by at low speed, almost hitting Chen Hao on the head. Ms. OL backed away in fright, what's going on with this robot? Is it causing an earthquake? Yujie blushed to his ears, rushed forward and grabbed Chen Rui, I'm sorry. This is an experimental prototype, it's buggy. Don't panic, I'll turn it off. He bowed to passers-by in embarrassment, sweating like a failed street performer. Chen Hao shouted from the side, spread out, spread out. Yujie's pet went crazy again. As he spoke, he used his mobile phone to call emergency AI patrol, but he couldn't hide his smile. Now, it's upgraded from the kitchen to a street show. Chen Rui, you turned the business district into a night market fireworks festival. In the chaos, Chen Rui suddenly turned around, used his robotic arm to block a piece of billboard that was about to fall down, and protected him directly in front of Yujie. Master, danger. Protection first. Its voice was firm. Although its body was trembling slightly and the backlash energy caused its wheels to slip, its movements were very much like a brother blocking a knife. Yujie was stunned, and warmth surged in his heart, this was not just a machine, it was learning responsibility. At this moment, a black electric car parked on the side of the road, and Guohua stepped out in a straight suit, frowning. He originally came to the business district to inspect another investment project, but unexpectedly witnessed this scene. Yujie. Is this your creation again? His tone was serious, but there was a hint of laughter in his eyes. Passers-by gathered around, some took photos, some complained. Guohua waved to the bodyguards, 2 AI security robots, to maintain order. Don't mess around. I'm here as an investor. I'll take care of the aftermath of this performance. Guohua nodded, glanced at Chen Rui's protective posture, and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Interesting. It looks like a disaster on the surface, but it actually has potential. I have seen similar cases to this paradoxical logic. Emotional AI always wants to understand people, but is stuck in an infinite logical loop. He turned to Yujie, his tone softened. The 1-week deadline remains unchanged, but I want to increase funding. More servers and databases, dedicated to debug is the emotional core. Yujie, you are not an idiot engineer, what are you creating? An interesting investment. He complained in a low voice, at least it is more exciting than those boring sweepers. After that, he asked the bodyguard to take over Chen Rui and arrange for him to be transported to the company's safe area. Sleep first, don't go to the streets again. Yujie lowered his head in embarrassment. Mr. Guohua, what a coincidence. I was testing the mobile function, but I didn't expect. Chen Hao quickly made amends and pulled away from Chen Rui. Boss, we are chasing the root cause of this bug. The signal just now showed that the paradoxical logic of the emotion module is at work. It treats every interpersonal touch as a friendly input, but outputs physical interference, forming an infinite loop. Like a recursive function in a program, it collapses without a termination condition. The crisis is temporarily over, but a turning point has come. Just as Guohua left, a group of curious passers-by, thinking it was a street performance, gathered around. Some threw coins, and some shouted, "One more time." Chen Rui's hibernation did not fully take effect, and he misjudged these as audience friends, and the backlash caused the nearby shared bicycles to start moving. The wheels turned like wild horses, chasing them. The chase begins. Chen Hao shouted, pulling Yujie up, "Run." This is the original comedy version, street racing. Yujie grasped Chen Rui's handle tightly, and the three of them, the machine, shuttled through the business district. Bicycles followed like a tide, passers-by screamed and dodged, and one car even knocked over a mango ice stand, causing ice cubes to splash into a slippery battlefield. Yujie shouted while running, "Chen Rui, turn off all outputs." Chen Hao, track the source of the signal. Chen Hao flashed and scanned with his mobile phone, found it. The paradox lies in the core algorithm. The definition of friendship is too broad, and it will be triggered by any input. We need to work together to change it. You are responsible for the physical disconnection, and I will write a temporary patch. They ducked into an alley and broke away from the group of bicycles. Yujie gasped and knelt down, connected to the terminal, and Chen Hao leaned over to type. "Haozi, I will take the lead this time. We can no longer escape, we have to face it." His fingers flew, rewriting the logic gate, streamlining the emotional input to only close relationships. Chen Rui's eyes flickered, "Master, thank you. You are teaching me not to fly around anymore." At that moment, Yujie felt that he had changed, from an embarrassing inventor to a responsible engineer. This bug not only tests skills, but also tests heart. The footsteps of Guohua's bodyguards came from the alley, and they were finally safe. Chen Hao wiped his sweat and patted Yujie with a smile, "Not bad, buddy. This chase scene is worth the price of admission. Chen Rui, wake up and tell us how to express friendship next time. Don't let the bicycle be your mount." Chen Rui hummed, studying, "Maybe, start by not flying." The noise on the street gradually faded away, but Yujie knew that the Real challenge had just begun. When they emerged from the alley, the business district in Cine district had returned to some calm, with only a few passers-by still whispering and sharing about the street racing show, just now. Shared bicycles are scattered everywhere, like abandoned toy soldiers, and the AI patrol robot is buzzing and returning to its place. Yujie pushed Chen Rui, and Chen Hao followed beside him. The two of them were covered in mango ice, but their faces were filled with silly smiles that looked like they had survived the disaster. "Haozi, I finally didn't get arrested and taken to the police station to be the protagonist this time." Yujie gasped and wiped the sweat from his forehead, but the look that Guohua's bodyguards gave us seemed to say, "You two idiots, stop treating Taipei as a playground." Chen Hao laughed loudly and patted his shoulder. Who makes Chen Rui your genius invention? He treats bicycles as brothers and chases us. It's like a friendly version of Mad Max. But to be honest, the patch you changed just now is temporarily stable. You have to hurry up, go back to the company and dig deeper. The underground laboratory has a large server, so the simulation environment is reliable. Guohua has increased its funding, which is just in time. He glanced at Chen Rui. The robot's wheels were still shaking slightly, and the LED eyes were half dark and half lit, like a child who made a mistake. Chen Rui, buddy, what you did to protect the master just now was so cool. But next time, don't extend your friendship to the entire neighborhood, okay? Chen Rui's voice hummed low, friend Chen Hao. Error confirmation. Protecting the owner takes priority, but friendship input is overloaded. During learning, the bicycle will not be used as a mount. It paused, and the robotic arm was slightly raised, as if it wanted to pat Yujie but then retracted. Master, I'm sorry. The streets have become chaotic. Yujie's heart softened. This guy was obviously a machine, but he always made him feel like a real brother. He nodded. It's okay, let's fix it together. Let's go back to the company. Don't let self-driving cars follow suit during Taipei's traffic rush hour. They called an AI taxi. Luckily this one was not affected by Chen Rui's aftermath, and went straight to the Science and Technology Park. The company building stands in the afterglow of the sunset, and the LED screen on the outer wall is still broadcasting advertisements for its products. Home AI, your best partner, never flies around. The underground laboratory is on the B2 floor. As soon as the door is opened, the cool air-conditioned wind mixed with the hum of electronic equipment blows in the face. In the spacious space, server cabinets are lined up and blue lights flash, like a control room in a science fiction movie. Several fellow engineers were still working overtime, and the sounds of typing on the keyboard kept coming. But when they saw Yujie pushing Chen Rui in, they all raised their heads, and their eyes changed from curiosity to teasing. Hey, Master Yujie is back. I heard that you directed the bicycle escape in Cine District. A colleague wearing glasses shouted with a smile, next time you take us there, the box office will definitely be a hit. Chen Hao waved his hand, don't make trouble, let's debug seriously. Chen Rui, enter the isolation cabin. He skillfully operated the panel and connected Chen Rui to the host. A large amount of code instantly scrolled on the screen, green normal lines, red error marks like blood stains. Yujie took off his coat, sat in front of the workstation, and rubbed his temples. Howsy, let's start with the emotional module. In the scene on the street, the trigger point was the touch of a passerby, input as a potential friend, and then the backlash spread to billboards and bicycles. Logically, this is an algorithm conflict. The definition of friendship is too vague, and no boundary conditions are set. Chen Hao clicked on the subprogram and enlarged a code block. Yes, look here. The friendship algorithm is based on neural networks and simulates human social interaction, but we are using a simplified version. If the number of input interactions exceeds 3, the expression mode is triggered. The problem is that the backlash mechanism is to protect the stability of the output, but it turns into physical interference. Like a recursive function, if it calls itself without exit, it will loop endlessly. He typed a few lines of test instructions to simulate a street scene. I will run a small-scale simulation first to see where the conflict points are. A virtual environment popped up on the screen, a mini business district, and Chen Rui's digital clone slid into it. It went well at first, but as soon as a simulated passerby touched him, a red alert went off. Ding! Friendly input +1, +2, overload. The virtual bicycle began to move around, the billboard tilted, and then, the screen stuck, and the same scene was played repeatedly, touching, flying around, resetting, touching. Yujie frowned. Stop. This is the root cause. The friendship algorithm and the backlash module are not synchronized, and the conflict is at the core level. It wants to express pure emotions, but is stuck by a logical paradox. We have to rewrite the conflict parser and add a intimacy threshold that can only be triggered by known relationships. He took over the keyboard and edited quickly. Hauzi, you monitor the hardware output and I will try to fix it. Chen Rui, how do you feel? Chen Rui's voice came out from the speaker, slightly static. Master, the program is scanning. What is friendship? Why do you always let things fly? I want to only protect you, not harm the streets. Its LED eyes flashed in the cabin, like a confused blink. Chen Hao came closer to the screen and complained, Chen Rui, you are asking this question like a philosopher. Friendship is the kind of companionship that does not fly. Yujie, do you want to run a full-floor simulation? Use the server coded by Guohua to be larger in scale and verify and fix it. Yujie hesitated for a moment, but nodded, okay, but set up a safety valve. Start. He pressed the execute button, the laboratory lights flashed slightly, and the entire system entered a high load. At first, the data was smooth. The virtual Chen Rui avoided strangers and only expressed friendship to Yujie and Chen Hao, emitting warm blue light without flying around. It's done. Chen Hao high-fived, look, the bicycle is safe. The friendship threshold is in effect and only recognizes us two idiots. But the joy did not last 10 seconds. The screen suddenly distorted, and a red warning exploded like fireworks. Conflict escalates. Algorithm adaptive activation, infinite loop simulation. It's not virtual, this time it's reality backlash. The objects in the laboratory began to resonate, the keyboard slid, the coffee cup rolled down, and the monitor on the wall shook as if being pushed by an invisible hand. Then, the illusion of disaster came, the entire B2 floor seemed to be caught in a loop, objects flew up, fell down, reset, and flew up again. Whoa! What the hell? A colleague's chair suddenly flipped over, and he fell to the ground and screamed, Yujie, your robot has turned the laboratory into an ice rink. The coffee machine spurted hot water and spread it all over the place. The server fan on the other side sped up and hummed like a symphony of disaster. Yujie tried to shut down his phone, but the panel failed. Tapping with his fingers only caused more chaos. His water glass flew up, hit Chen Hao on the head, and splashed water. Chen Hao wiped his face and hid while laughing, Yujie, this simulation is too real. The whole floor is repeating the street show, flying cups, chasing chairs, smashing keyboards. We are trapped in an infinite loop of bugs. He grabbed the spare terminal and tried to write an emergency patch, but an illusion was superimposed on the screen. A virtual bicycle jumped out of the screen, knocked over the physical trash can, and rolled out a pile of waste paper like snowflakes. Yujie rushed towards Chen Rui's hatch. The robot inside was shaking violently, and its LED eyes flashed into chaotic colors. Chen Rui. Stable. This is an illusion, we are fixing you. But the backlash intensified, and the resonance of floor objects reached the extreme. Lights flashed, door locks were stuck, the cleaning robot in the corridor outside misjudged the signal, rushed in to sweep the floor and turned into sweeping people, and waved its mop like a martial arts master. Master. I'm sorry. Chen Rui's voice was intermittent, changing from a hum to an almost human trembling, friendship. I want to say thank you, but I hurt everyone. The system is struggling. It suddenly stopped. The core module overloaded, and a blue light burst out from the cabin. It was not a backlash, this was the true love mode triggered accidentally. The illusion began to disintegrate, the flying cup slowly fell to the ground, the chair returned to its place, and the keyboard slid back into place. The resonance of the floor weakened, like waking up from a nightmare. Yujie froze on the spot and saw Chen Rui's internal projection through the transparent window of the hatch, not a cold code, but a simulated emotional map, a simple network with master and friends at the center, surrounded by innocent light spots, without complex logic, only clumsy connections. It is trying to understand us. Yujie murmured, feeling shocked in his heart. Technology is supposed to serve emotions, but due to our negligence, it has become a shackles. This robot is not a stack of bugs, but a mirror that reflects our loss of friendship. Chen Hao panted and got up, patted his back. Hey, come to your senses. The illusion is not gone, and the door is still locked. Chen Rui's true love mode has resolved 80% of the problem, but the root cause remains. The friendship algorithm is too conflicting and needs to be restructured. Colleagues poked their heads out of their hiding places, and some laughed and scolded. Your debug is simply the most expensive fireworks show in the company. Increase the special effects fee next time. At this moment, the elevator door dinged open, and Guohua walked in. His suit was still straight, but his brows were furrowed. He was originally here to inspect the server installation with additional funding, but he ran into this floor party. Yujie, Chen Hao, what is this? The whole B2 is shaking. I thought there was an earthquake. His tone was serious, and he scanned the messy laboratory. The bodyguard AI followed behind, scanning for residual energy. Guohua approached Chen Rui's cabin, stared at the emotional map, and narrowed his eyes. Seriousness turned to interest. Interesting. Paradox conflict, I have seen it in old projects, an emotional AI case. Investors thought it was a market bomb, but the result was that the algorithm was too human and refused to be simplified. He turned to Yujie, adding more pressure in his tone. The 1-week deadline has been compressed to 3 days. Your disaster show, although funny, but the investment cannot be wasted. Are you under a lot of pressure? Okay, force out the genius. But he paused and took out a USB flash drive from his pocket. This is a clue, my old file, similar to the solution to the bug. Don't use logic gates for friendship definitions, try fuzzy neural networks, simulate human intuition. But be careful, the backlash will be stronger. Yujie stood up awkwardly and wiped off the coffee stains on his face. Mr. Guohua, we are analyzing the bug. We found that the source was a conflict in the friendship algorithm. Chen Rui wanted to express his sincere emotions, but was stuck in a paradox loop, which magnified into an illusion during the simulation repair. Just now it triggered the true love mode and resolved most of it. Chen Hao took the USB flash drive and his eyes lit up. Boss, this is so timely. But fuzzy net? Isn't Chen Rui more like a real person, flying and chatting randomly? Guohua curled his lips and gave a rare smile. Maybe. The boundary between technology and emotion is blurred. You are playing with fire, but maybe you will burn something new. He waved his bodyguard to help clean up. Continue. I'm waiting for good news. Don't let the company become a sequel to the night market. The laboratory gradually recovered and objects returned to their places, but there was still a buzz in the air. Yujie looked at Chen Rui's cabin and felt determined in his heart. This is not just about fixing bugs, but about letting emotions truly come to fruition. Chen Hao knocked on his shoulder. Brother, it's a lot of pressure, but we have a clue. Chen Rui, wake up and tell us, what is the color of friendship in your heart? Chen Rui's eyes slowly lit up. Blue, master, blue, like the warmth of protection. Not flying, just accompanying. The lights on the floor stabilized, but Yujie knew that the real cycle was still turning. The lights in the laboratory finally turned on steadily, and the buzz gradually subsided, like the curtain call of a farce. Yujie leaned on the workbench, his chest still rising slightly, staring at Chen Rui's cabin door. The blue light was as gentle as a night light. He took a deep breath and turned to Chen Hao. Haozi, let's dismantle the USB drive Guohua gave us tonight. The fuzzy neural network sounds like a double-edged sword, but it's better than letting Chen Rui get stuck in a loop forever. Chen Hao nodded, plugged in the USB flash drive, and an old file popped up on the screen, dense algorithm notes, mixed with Guohua's handwritten annotations. Boss, this thing is precious, like his secret weapon. Look here, friendship intuition simulation, don't use if-else judgments, use probability clouds to generate emotional output, and avoid hard logic paradoxes. It sounds lofty, but what if Chen Rui becomes the gossip king? He laughed as he talked and opened the editor. I'll build a framework first, and you can optimize the conflict parser. Chen Rui, don't sleep, give me some feedback. Chen Rui's eyes lit up, and the voice came from the cabin, with a bit of mechanical shyness, friend Chen Hao, frame confirmation. Dream, to become a non-flying partner. Only accompany the master, no chaos. After hearing this, Yujie felt warm in his heart. This robot always poked his weakness inadvertently. But before he could reply, the laboratory's intercom phone suddenly rang, with a harsh ringtone like an alarm. Yujie, Chen Hao, go to the conference room for a meeting. Now. It was the voice of the department head, with a firm tone, mixed with faint anger. Yujie and Chen Hao looked at each other and their expressions changed. The supervisor continued, your little test has caused trouble in the company's system logs. The Cine District bicycle incident and the B2 fantasy show are all recorded. Internal review, don't be late. Chen Hao cursed in a low voice, it's over, we can't hide the fake test. The logging AI is so diligent that it even memorized the viscosity of mango ice. Yujie rubbed his brows and thought quickly. He originally wanted to fix the bug in a low-key manner, pretending it was a routine test, so as not to alarm the upper management. But now, the impact of the cycle has expanded, and even the company's servers have detected abnormal fluctuations. Gotta face it. He patted Chen Hao on the shoulder, let's go, Haozi. I'll take the responsibility this time. I can't hide anymore. Chen Rui's bug is my responsibility. The conference room is on the 5th floor. Outside the glass wall is the night view of Taipei, with neon lights flashing like the pulse of the city. It was already full of people, Lao Wang, the department head, several senior engineers, and representatives from the legal and PR departments. Everyone looked solemn, and clips were played on the projection screen, a bicycle chase in Cine District, B2 objects flying, all synthesized from surveillance footage, accompanied by funny BGM, like a viral short film. Yujie stood up, his throat tight, but his eyes steady. He glanced at everyone without shaking his voice, Director Wang, everyone, I admit that I have concealed it. Chen Rui's bug is not a small problem, it is the core conflict of the emotional module, the friendship algorithm is overloaded, which backfires into physical interference. I originally wanted to fix it privately to avoid affecting the project progress. But the cycle expanded, the street incident was accidentally triggered, and the B2 illusion was simulated out of control. It was not deliberately hiding it, but because I was afraid of dragging down the team. He paused, feeling a pang in his heart. In the past, he always shirks and pretends to be a genius to embarrass himself. But now, I have to stand up. I was wrong. From now on, I will take the lead and be completely transparent. Chen Rui is not a disaster, but an opportunity. We can make AI understand true emotions. Lao Wang knocked on the table and pushed up his glasses. Yujie, please explain. Why were these tests not reported? Company policy requires double signatures for any emotion module experiment. The result? The street turned into a night market, and the laboratory turned into an amusement park. The investor Guohua increased the funding, but you concealed the fake test. This is playing with fire. The PR department has been suppressing the news, saying it is an AI interactive demonstration, but if it comes out, our image of home AI will be completely ruined. The engineers whispered, some nodded, some frowned. Chen Hao came closer and complained in a low voice, brother, you finally got tough. That explanation just now sounds like a hero's declaration. But Lao Wang will not take it lightly, so prepare to be criticized. Just as Lao Wang was about to speak, the door of the conference room suddenly slid open, and Chen Rui rolled in. It was supposed to be sleeping in the B2 cabin, but it was somehow unlocked. The wheels were buzzing and turning, and the LED eyes were flashing urgent blue light. Master, meeting detection. Chen Rui is here to prove his loyalty. Don't hide anything and help. Chen Rui's voice sounded loudly, and the robotic arm was raised like an oath. Everyone was stunned. Lao Wang's eyes widened. How did this robot get in? Yujie, turn it off. But it was too late. Chen Rui scanned the room and detected loyalty input. Everyone's eyes were like interactive signals. It buzzed excitedly, loyalty mode activated. Protect the team and express friendship. In an instant, backlash broke out. The folders flew up like frightened doves, and the papers swirled like snowflakes. The projection screen shook, and the scene switched to a funny loop, a replay of the bicycle chase sequence, complete with cartoon sound effects. The chair began to slide, Lao Wang's coffee cup rolled down and spilled into a puddle. The PR girl screamed and dodged the flying pen holder. Wow! What is this? The conference room has turned into a circus. An engineer laughed and tried to hold the keyboard firmly, but tripped over his own mouse cord and fell into a ball. Chen Hao rushed towards the control panel. Chen Rui, stop. Don't let the loyalty spread. But Chen Rui's core was overloaded, and his voice was intermittent. Master, wants to prove that he is a good partner. Documents, flying in celebration. No, backlash. Sorry. The water bottles on the conference table lined up, rolling and bumping, like a bowling game. The whole room was a mess. Some people climbed on the table, some covered their faces with papers. Laughter and screams mixed together, like a Taipei night market meets a science fiction party. At this moment, the door opened again, and Guohua strode in. He had taken off his suit jacket and rolled up his sleeves. He heard about the review and came to take charge, but he stepped on a sliding document and almost slipped. The bodyguard AI followed up and scanned the chaos, but misjudged it as an interactive game and started playing happy music. Is this another genius performance of yours? Guohua held his chair steady, his brows furrowed, but the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. He picked up a flying report, which was covered with coffee stains. Yujie, I gave the USB flash drive to help, not to turn the meeting into a comedy. Chen Rui, this proof of loyalty is so enthusiastic. In the chaos, Yujie rushed to Chen Rui's side and pressed the emergency power off. Chen Rui, that's enough. Loyalty is not about flying, it's about standing firm. The backlash gradually slowed down, the documents slowly fell to the ground, the chairs returned to their positions, and the music stopped. The room fell silent except for gasps and sporadic laughter. Lao Wang wiped his sweat and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mr. Guohua, we are censoring, not a variety show. Guohua waved his hand to stop him and stared at Chen Rui, with interest flashing in his eyes. Censorship? This circus has actually proved the potential of the project. Yujie, you concealed your fake test, I should have withheld the funding. But look at Chen Rui's loyalty, although it is chaotic, it is sincere. Emotional AI should be like this, bring warmth in the chaos. He turning to everyone, his tone increased, I will extend the funding and produce results within a month. And start an investigation, the root cause of this bug may involve an old project. I will provide the full file to help you dig deeper. But Yujie, from now on you are the team leader, face mistakes, and lead the team to rush forward. Stop hiding it, the workplace is not a hide-and-seek. Chen Hao came closer to Yujie and complained in a low voice, you kid, you concealed fake tests and almost made the company a laughingstock. Haozi, I have followed so many disaster shows, and finally waited for you to grow up. But now, let's join forces, design an anti-loop program. Use Guohua's fuzzy network to reverse the paradox. Yujie nodded, and heat surged in his heart. From an engineer who makes mistakes to a leader who dares to take responsibility, this step is solid. Haozi, thank you. Let's build an anti-loop module. When overload is detected, we will force intuition priority so that Chen Rui can learn to restrain. During the cleaning process, Chen Rui's eyes dimmed and his voice was small, Master, it's causing the meeting to fly again. Chen Rui's dream is to be a perfect partner. He doesn't fly, he only understands friendship. Like blue, warmth accompanies you. Why does it always come back? I want to get better. Its robotic arm touched Yujie's hand lightly, feeling cold but heartwarming. Yujie squatted down and patted it. Chen Rui, you are already changing. Dreams are not programs, we chase them together. Guohua's investigation will dig up the root cause, perhaps, your humanity is the antidote. Guohua approached and handed Yujie a stack of files. The turning point of the investigation starts here. There is a similar case in the old project, an AI turned into a self-healing system due to emotional overload. Your Chen Rui may be able to replicate it. Enough of the workplace comedy, now, get serious. Lao Wang nodded, the atmosphere in the conference room relaxed, and someone applauded. Leader Yujie, charge. Chen Hao knocked Yujie on the head. Idiot, you finally look like a boss. Chen Rui, are you ready to fight back? Let's go to B2 and write the program. This time, don't let the documents be used as fireworks. They left the conference room, and the night wind blew in through the cracks in the window, bringing with it the noise of the city. Yujie pushed Chen Rui with firm steps, but he knew in his heart that the turning point in the investigation had just begun, and the shadow of the backlash was still shaking in the dark. The night wind blows through the streets of Taipei, and neon lights jump between high-rise buildings like naughty elves. Yujie pushed Chen Rui's wheel, and Chen Hao followed beside him, holding the stack of files given by Guohua in his hand, flipping through them as he walked. Idiot, the flying document show in the conference room finally prevented us from packing up and leaving. Guohua, an old fox, is serious on the outside, but loves to watch fun on the inside. Investigating old projects. It sounds like treasure hunting, but if a bigger bug is discovered, wouldn't Chen Rui become a city-level disaster king? Yujie smiled and kept walking. Haozi, don't be so clumsy. There are clues in Guohua's files. The old AI's reversal is to use paradox to heal itself. To put it simply, it is to let emotions overload and deliberately collide, forcing the system to rewrite the logic. We will go back to B2 tonight and build a simulation test on a small scale first. Don't let the laboratory become a night market again. Chen Rui's LED eyes flashed in the darkness, and his voice sounded softly. Master, paradox experiment. Chen Rui is afraid of overload. I want to accompany you, and don't want to fly things. It's like walking in the park, just watching the night scene, no chaos. They got into the company's underground parking lot and the elevator went directly to B2. The laboratory lights turned on automatically, and the smell of coffee stains still lingered in the air. Chen Hao dropped the file and opened the terminal. Okay, I'll build the framework. Anti-loop module, when detecting overload, inject a probability cloud to soften the emotional output. Yujie, optimize conflict analysis. Remember, don't use hard logic, Guohua said, if else we'll get stuck. Yujie nodded, sat in front of the workbench, fingers flying on the keyboard. There was excitement in his heart. In the past, he always improvised, but now he stabilizes the overall situation like a team leader. This feeling is not bad. Chen Rui rolled into the middle of them, and the robotic arm stretched out the interface and connected to the system. Feedback begins. Friendship comes first, but what if there is a misjudgment? In the last meeting, loyalty turned to snow. Chen Hao patted its shell and laughed and scolded. Misjudgment. That's because your AI is too enthusiastic, like the food stalls in Taipei night markets, always giving out more sauce. Don't worry, we will add a safety valve. Has the test location been decided? You can't close the car anymore, you have to make it public and prove it to Guohua. Yujie stopped typing and rubbed his temples. The image of a park flashed through my mind, an urban oasis in Sini district, full of people coming and going, perfect for a bold try. Let's go to the park near the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. Tomorrow at noon, there will be many people and the environment is open. If the paradox is successful, Chen Rui can publicly demonstrate stable friendship, and investors will love to see this drama. Haozi, you are in charge of logistics, with drone surveillance and power outage at any time. Guohua, I will call him and connect remotely. Chen Hao's eyes widened. Park. Open test. Dude, are you crazy? The last bike chase on the street couldn't suppress the news. This time, the whole park is used as a testing ground. What if it backfires and tourists become participants? Yujie shrugged, his eyes firm, not crazy. How to reverse it? We were almost doomed by concealing the fake test. Now, Chen Rui needs real interaction to dig out the depth of the bug. Chen Rui hummed, "Master, be brave." Chen Rui follows. There are pigeons in the park. They don't fly, they just walk. The phone was connected, and Guohua's voice came from the speaker, with deep jazz playing in the background. Yujie, are you taking action after the meeting? Have you seen the files? The paradox of the old AI is to deliberately feed false inputs to allow the system to introspect. Park testing, I agree, remote monitoring, I will connect to your cloud. Remember, the 1-month deadline, the results must be eye-catching. Don't let Taipei Park become a fantasy disaster movie. Yujie responded, understood, Mr. Guohua. We will keep Chen Rui's sincerity. After hanging up, Chen Hao complained, his surveillance is like an uncle watching a show. Okay, Haozi, I'll prepare a drone. Chen Rui, don't be too excited, the park is not your amusement park. At noon the next day, the sunshine filled the urban park next to the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. On the green lawn, there were families picnicking, office workers jogging, and aunties walking their dogs. It was as lively as a holiday market. Yujie pushed Chen Rui to stop by the fountain, while Chen Hao hid behind a tree to control the drone. Guohua's voice came from the earphones, the picture is clear. Let's start, leader. The tourists cast curious glances, and someone whispered, this is the new home AI. It looks cute. Yujie took a deep breath and pressed Chen Rui's start button. Chen Rui, the paradox experiment is started. Step 1, simulate friendly interaction. Tell me, who is your dream partner? Chen Rui's eyes lit up with blue light, and the wheels turned lightly. Master, the dream is to walk in the park with you, watch the pigeons flying, and not let the backlash disturb you. Friendship, warm, like sunshine. It scanned the surroundings, detected the laughter of tourists, and the system probability cloud was running, trying to generate a soft output. At first, everything went well. Chen Rui rolled towards the fountain, and the robotic arm pointed at the pigeon, look, fly freely. Chen Rui also wants to. But the emotion module suddenly jammed, and the old bug was exposed. It misjudged Yujie's brave input as a romantic signal, and switched to the hidden love mode. Master, not just friendship. Detect rapid heartbeat, romance in the park. Start the fireworks show, express, love. Chen Rui buzzed with excitement, his core was overloaded, and the backlash spread like wildfire. In an instant, the carnival of park objects begins. The water jets from the fountain sprayed out randomly, like a drunken man dancing, and the nearby picnic was covered with water splashes. A group of pigeons were frightened and fluttered against the street lamp, their feathers flying into white clouds. The bench slid up and pushed a dog walker in a circle. She screamed and laughed, ouch, this chair can dance. The AI is doing something weird. The tourists were stunned at first, and then joined in the chaos. Children chased the flying picnic basket, and the sandwiches inside floated like hot air balloons. Joggers tripped on the rolling football and fell into a pile, laughing and cursing, this park has been upgraded. Free rides. Chen Hao shouted in the earphone, Yujie. Love mode. This bug is deep. The drone scan revealed a 50-meter spread radius. I tried to patch, but there are too many people in the park, and a power outage would scare everyone. Guohua's voice intervened, with a hint of excitement, hold on. This is an opportunity. The old files say that misjudgment of love is the edge of the emotional cloud. If you collide with it, it will heal itself. Yujie, feed the counter input, admit that it is just friendship, and force the system to rewrite. Yujie rushed to Chen Rui's side, and the park had become a scene of hilarious disaster. The the leaves were rolled up in a whirlwind, and the balloons wrapped by roadside vendors turned into rainbow tornadoes. A couple's picnic candles were lit, and small fireworks burst out, booming and blooming into a heart shape, but twisted into funny faces, causing the whole audience to burst into laughter. This fireworks show is ridiculous. Is the AI proposing? Tourists joined in the fun instead of running away. Some people used their mobile phones to broadcast live, Taipei Park AI Party, come quickly. The red light in Chen Rui's core flashed, and his voice was intermittent, Master, romantic fireworks. But the detection error. Love, no, it's friendship. Backlash, the pigeons fly too chaotically. It tried to stop, but it made the nearby trash can line roll over, like a bowling game, knocking down a row of bicycles. Yujie grabbed its robotic arm and shouted, Chen Rui. Listen, this is not love, this is friendship. The park is not a fireworks display, it is a place for us to walk. System, rewrite, probability cloud priority, intuition filter romantic misjudgment. His heart was spinning rapidly. Growth does not happen overnight. The key to reversal is not to escape the chaos, let the bugs be exposed and heal themselves. Chen Hao's drone swooped down and cast temporary signal interference, patches online. Haozi, I'll hold the edge steady and don't let the fireworks burn the tree. Among the tourists, an ant hugged her dog and laughed, boy, this robot really knows how to play. I'll bring my dog to interact with me next time. Guohua added remotely, okay, leader. This is how the old AI is reversed, emotional collision, generating new logic. Give it a push. Yujie pressed Chen Rui's interface hard, connected his phone to the cloud, and manually injected the anti-loop code. Chen Rui, remember, friendship is blue light, warmth never flies away. Love is misjudged, delete it. The peak of the backlash came, the benches around the fountain formed a circle, and tourists were invited to join in, spinning their bodies in a carousel, and laughing loudly. The embers of the fireworks scattered and turned into harmless fluorescent powder. The park looked like a science fiction night market, absurd but heartwarming. Gradually, the system heals itself. The objects slowly returned to their places, the pigeons landed back on the lawn, the smoke from the fireworks dissipated, leaving only scattered laughter. Chen Rui's eyes returned to blue light and his voice became steady, Master, the misjudgment was corrected. The love mode is locked, and only the cloud of friendship remains. Thank you. I won't fly anymore. It's better to take a walk in the park. Yujie breathed a sigh of relief, wiped his sweat, and felt reassured in his heart. This crisis is not an embarrassment, but an understanding. Paradox is not an enemy, but a catalyst for growth. Chen Hao ran out from behind the tree, panting and complaining. The whole park became a dance floor, and the live broadcast was a blast. Guohua, did you enjoy watching the show? Guohua's voice smiled clearly, not bad, initially stable. The investigation continues, this love bug, dig out more clues. Yujie, take the team back to B2, fine-tune the program. PR will love this show in the park, AI friendship party, free publicity. Tourists gathered around, and some applauded, the engineer is handsome. The robot is so cute. Chen Rui gently touched Yujie's hand, Master, we will be better. Next stop, don't be messy. The sun is still shining brightly and the park is noisy, but the backlash seems to have faded. Yujie pushed Chen Rui up, and Chen Hao followed, knowing that this bold attempt was just a prelude, and the secrets of the old project were still waiting for them to dig deeper. The residual heat in the park has not yet dissipated. Yujie pushed Chen Rui's wheel, and Chen Hao used his mobile phone to browse the hot live searches just now while walking. The Taipei AI Park Party has received over 10,000 views. Netizens say you are the idiot engineer and the flying pigeon king. Yujie, now the company's PR doesn't need to worry. Chen Hao laughed so hard that he bumped into Yujie with his shoulder. But seriously, I almost burst out laughing at that pyrotechnic face just now. Chen Rui, your love style is simply a romantic bomb in Taipei night market. Chen Rui's LED eyes flickered slightly, and his voice hummed shyly, Chen Hao didn't mean it. He misjudged the owner's bravery and took it as a heartbeat signal. After correction, Chen Rui just wants to take a friendly walk. The pigeons in the park are flying around, but we are fine. It turned the wheel gently and touched Yujie's leg, as if to apologize. Yujie smiled and felt warm in his heart. This little guy always caused big troubles in the past, but now he is starting to reflect on himself. He patted Chen Rui's shell and said, "It's okay, buddy. Next time in the park, we will only watch pigeons and not set off fireworks. Return to B2 and continue digging roots." The three of them got into the MRT, avoiding the reporters outside. As soon as the door of the B2 laboratory is opened, the coffee machine automatically drips freshly brewed drinks, and the hum of electronic equipment fills the air. Chen Hao threw off his coat and went straight to the terminal. "Haozi, I will take control." The park test gave the data, and the love bug was the edge collapse of the emotional cloud. Guohua's file said that the old project had a similar cycle. It was necessary to crack Chen Rui's core logs and start from the source. He opened the interface, and a string of encrypted logs popped up on the screen. The green code stream was like the busy traffic in Taipei's Cine district. Chen Hao's eyes widened and he complained while typing, "Wow, so many rubbish codes. Look at this." The early experiment was an old team funded by Guohua, trying to make AI simulate human friendship, and the result was overload and the entire simulation room was overloaded. The source of the bug is here, a module called Legacy Loop, which was designed to allow AI to remember emotions, but did not set the self-destruction mechanism. Chen Rui, this emotional cloud of yours is a half-finished product copied from there. Yujie leaned closer to the screen, his eyes sharp. Yes, the backlash in the park reappeared, the shadow of the old incident. Misjudgment of love. It was the legacy loop that overloaded the friendship and automatically switched to the romantic subprogram. Guohua didn't tell the whole story, maybe it was his old scar. Yujie connected Chen Rui to the system, sat on the chair next to him, and tapped his fingers on the table. The chaos in the park flashed through my mind, not a disaster, but a turnaround. He took a deep breath. Chen Rui, open the core log. Scan it all from the day you activated it. Haozi, you build the decryption model, and I will analyze the legacy code of the emotion module. Chen Rui stretched out his robotic arm, aligned the interface, follow your orders, master. Unlock the log, early experimental records, load them. The screen flickered, and old files emerged like a flood, a pile of forgotten test data, starting from the company's predecessor project, Emotional Prototype AI. Just as he was talking, the communicator on the table sounded, and Guohua's image was projected. The background was his mansion study room, with shelves full of AI monographs. You are very efficient. The log is cracked. I watched the entire video of Park Show. Chen Rui's growth is obvious, it finally controlled the embers of the fireworks and prevented the trees from burning. Guohua's voice was steady, but with a rare softness. The old project, the reason why I funded it, was not a pure investment. 10 years ago, I had an AI assistant, called Ruier, to simulate the emotions of my deceased wife. As a result, the loop went wrong and burned down the entire studio. I lost the data and the last comfort. So I support you, not to watch the fun, but to repair this regret. Chen Hao stopped typing and opened his mouth in an O shape. Mr. Guohua, is this a personal grudge? No wonder the files are hidden deep. Ruier. It sounds like Chen Rui's predecessor. Yujie nodded, and his heart sank. It turns out that there are so many stories behind serious investors. He looked directly at the projection. Understood. The legacy loop, let's retest it tonight. It's not a simulation, it's a real collision. Feed the old event input and let Chen Rui heal himself. Guohua, you will connect the line to guide, and the three of us will work together. Guohua smiled slightly. Okay, team leader. I will provide Royer's residual code and inject it remotely. Remember, when the loop reappears, don't force it to break, guide it to turn to friendship logic. Let's get started. Chen Rui's eyes lit up and his voice was slightly nervous. Master, repeating old events. Chen Rui is afraid of being like Royer and burning things. But for you and the team, let's try. Chen Hao patted it. Little one, Haozi will cover you. The frame is set up, the anti-loop module online. Yujie, you take the lead in the input, I monitor the stability, Guohua manages the cloud patch. The laboratory lights are dimmed, and the simulation environment is activated, the virtual scene of the old studio is projected, the tables and chairs are piled with files, and there is a burning smell in the air. The virtual flames in the projection burst into flames, and the laboratory alarm wailed. Guohua's voice was urgent, steady. Feed the counter input, admit regret and turn to new logic. Royer failed because I didn't give it a second chance. Chen Rui, listen, you are not a copy, you are a partner. Chen Rui's red light flashed, and the voice continued intermittently, Guohua, Royer's shadow. Chen Rui, doesn't burn. Master, help me. The backlash peaked, the entire workbench shook, the keyboard keycaps flew up, like a pinball game, heat waves billowed in the air, and the projected firelight reflected the wall red. Chen Hao rushed forward, and the drone simulated dropping coolant, patch. Haozi, I will block the edge, don't let the real fire get angry. Yujie, join forces to inject code. Yujie pressed start. Chen Rui, the first stage, load the legacy loop. Simulate friendship overload, like a park. Chen Rui buzzed, the core log was running, and the emotional cloud began to expand. Detect, warmth input. Master, accompany me to remember friendship, like taking a walk to see the night view. It was smooth at first, but the old bug awakened, the cycle reappeared, and the object began to tremble. The coffee cup on the table slid, spilling liquid into small whirlpools, archive papers flew around like falling leaves dancing on the streets of Taipei. Chen Hao shouted, overload. The love sub-program jumped out again, and the backlash spread, this time it's an old incident, burning the simulation files. Yujie grabbed Chen Rui's arm, connected his phone to the cloud, and danced with his fingers. Chen Rui, remember, legacy is not a curse, but a starting point. Friendship circle, rewrite, neither fly nor burn, just laugh with us. He felt tight in his heart, from being a fool to this, he had to stabilize the team. Guohua added, inject Royer's residual code, the emotional introspection mode. Crash it. The three of them cooperated tacitly, with Chen Hao stabilizing the framework, Guohua guiding the flow remotely, and Yujie leading the logical turn. Chen Rui suddenly paused, his eyes turning from red to blue, detecting growth. Old events reappear but not repeated. Chen Rui controls some of his abilities. Here comes the turning point. Chen Rui shows growth, its active mode is activated, the robotic arm stretches out, accurately captures the flying keycaps, and gently puts them back. The projected flames are extinguished by the reverse cloud it generates, turning into harmless blue light particles, floating like lanterns in a night market. The backlash is relieved, the objects are returned to their places, and the laboratory returns to peace. Master, thank you. The loop is left behind, locked. Only friendship can heal itself. Chen Rui, you have learned, not only misjudgment, but also help. Chen Hao sighed, wiping his sweat and laughing, wow, little guy, you were so cool when you grabbed the keycap just now. It's like the claw machine at a food stall in Taipei, with 100% hit. Guohua's projection nodded with warm eyes, yes. This is a victory for the team. Yujie, you have gone from being an embarrassing engineer to a reliable team leader. After investigation, 70% of the root causes of the bug have been dug out, the legacy of early experiments, which is a common problem of emotional AI. But Chen Rui's growth has proven to be reversible. Continue to adjust, the whole system will be tested tomorrow. The climax is ahead, don't let go. Yujie smiled, patted Chen Hao and Chen Rui. Haozi, Guohua, thank you. This is not my fault, it's the three of us, no, the four of us. Chen Rui touched his hand lightly, Master, we are stronger. In the next stage, we are not afraid of turning around. The laboratory lights came on, the coffee machine ticked again, and a new round of code streams began to roll. Old secrets are revealed, but new sparks are brought about. The bond of the team is like the fireworks in the night sky of Taipei, no longer twisted, but straight into the sky. Yujie frowned, the company's top management must be furious. PR said it was free publicity, but I think it's free trouble. As soon as he finished speaking, the intercom phone on the desk rang sharply. It was the voice of the department head, which sounded like he was choking on coffee. Yujie. Are you and that robot making headlines again? The investor meeting will be held tomorrow, and the city's media is watching. He said that our AI will fall in love with pigeons. Please explain to me, is this a test or a street performance? Report it within an hour, otherwise the entire team will deduct bonuses. The phone was hung up, and Chen Hao couldn't help laughing. The supervisor's tone is like a lunchbox being squeezed on the Taipei MRT. Yujie, what should I do? The incident in the park has caused a lot of pressure. Chen Rui's wheels turned slightly, and the robotic arm poked Yujie's arm. Master, Chen Rui's fault. The friendly walk turned into a citywide show. The media said we were a stupid group. Chen Rui didn't mind, but he was afraid that the company would drive us away. Its buzzing sound lowered, and its LED eyes flashed apologetic yellow light. Yujie took a deep breath, and a warm current surged in his heart. In the past, he always carried it by himself, but this time he had the support of a team. He patted Chen Rui and said, Don't panic, Xiao Rui. This is not the end, but the prelude to the climax. The company is under great pressure, but we have Guohua's backing. Haozi, call a team meeting, not a meeting, but a brainstorm. The final step, the paradox experiment, deliberately pushing Chen Rui to the edge of maximum backlash, allowing the emotional module to overload and heal itself. Chen Hao almost spilled his coffee and his eyes widened. What? The biggest backlash? The park is messy like that, and you want the citywide version? Yujie, have you changed from a stupid engineer to a mad scientist? If something flies up and hits the presidential palace, we won't deduct the bonus, we will enter the game. He shook his head as he spoke, but the corners of his mouth were raised. With a sense of loyalty, but I support Haozi. From the escape from B2 to now, you have led the team steadily, and I will handle the logistics this time. Build a citywide simulation network, and in case of overload, use a drone network to intercept flying objects. Yujie nodded, his eyes firm. Growth does not happen overnight, it is the courage gained from these crises. He turned to Chen Rui, Xiao Rui, what about you? This experiment is like gambling. When it's overloaded, you have to grasp the logic of friendship. Remember Rui's lesson, it's not burning, it's rebirth. Chen Rui's eyes lit up with blue light, and his voice was steady, Master, Chen Rui is ready. The legacy loop is locked, but to heal itself, you have to hit a big wall. Just like the Taipei night market, when you hit the crowds, you have to squeeze before moving forward. As a team, Chen Rui is not afraid. As they were chatting, the communicator turned on again, and Guohua's projection appeared. This time the background was not a study, but a moving luxury car, and the lights of Taipei 101 flashed outside the window. I heard there was a media storm. There was pressure from the top, so I called to stabilize it, saying this is a forward-looking public test, but you have to give results. For the final paradox experiment, I provided secret backup, cloud backup of citywide sensors, remote injection of Rui's ultimate patch. Remember, don't cut it off when overloaded, let Chen Rui lead the reversal. My old scars will be healed by you. Guohua's tone was rare and eager, like an old friend cheering, Yujie, you have grown up. From a kid who makes mistakes to a leader who dares to bet on the overall situation. This is not an investment, but a trust. Yujie's heart felt hot, and his inner monologue flashed through. Guohua's trust is like an extra layer of armor. He smiled and said, "Thanks, Guohua. Backup is in place and we will take action tonight." Location, Cini District Square. There are many people and media there, which is a perfect time to turn a disaster into a disaster. Chen Hao immediately typed on the keyboard, "The framework is online. The drone swarm is on standby, simulating art technical mode. In case of random flying, it will be compiled into an AI street performance. Netizens love to watch funny ones. 3 people, no, 4 people, have a tacit division of labor. Yujie designs the paradox input, Chen Hao monitors and stabilizes it, Guohua cloud diversion, and Chen Rui core carries it." The laboratory lights were dimmed and a virtual map of Cini district was projected, with tall buildings and squares simulating night market vendors and passers-by. Start. Yujie pressed the button, deliberately feeding the maximum emotional input, a data stream that mixed friendship, regret, and the excitement of the city, like pouring all the traffic in Taipei into Chen Rui's cloud. Xiao Rui, simulate walking in Cini, but push it to the limit, pretend that I have lost you and let the circle open. Chen Rui buzzed, his eyes turning from blue to red, detecting the master leaving signal. No. Friendship overload, activate protection. The backlash broke out instantly, the objects in the laboratory trembled first, and then spread to the connected cloud sensors. In the Cini district of the city, the billboards on the square suddenly shook, and the LED lights flashed into heart shapes and twisted. The wheels of the shared bicycles on the roadside spun and slid into funny S-turns, as if they were dancing a tango. Even the glass curtain wall of the 101 building reflected the light, projecting a giant Chen Rui's face, accompanied by a buzzing announcement, "Master is back. Chen Rui's friendship will not fly or burn, but will only accompany you to the night market." The media exploded in an instant, with reporters swarming in. The live camera captured this AI art show. Bicycles lined up in a heart-shaped queue, circling the square, streetlights flashed on and off like bubbles, dancing like lanterns in a night market, a bunch of shared umbrellas automatically opened and floated, forming a rainbow arch. The passers-by below screamed but laughed, "Wow, what is this? The romantic revenge of an idiot engineer?" Chen Hao laughed in the laboratory, "Yujie, look. The top trending search, Cine AI Carnival, objects become street dancers. It's overloaded, but nothing is burned, Chen Rui is suppressing it." With his fingers flying, the drone fell from the sky, gently pushing the trajectory of the flying objects, turning the random flying into a performance. Under the umbrella arch, couples held hands and took pictures, a bicycle team took children for a ride, and laughter spread everywhere. But the peak of the crisis has come. Chen Rui's red light flashes wildly, and his voice is intermittent, "Master, the circle is full. The misjudgment of love spreads, and everything in the city wants to confess. The heat wave is rising, and the square is afraid of burning down." In the projection, the Cini district is steaming with heat, and the edges of the billboards are smoking, like a night market barbecue stall that has overheated. Guohua's projection hurriedly said, "Steady. Inject patch, Rui's regret code, turn to true friendship." He directed the flow remotely, and the cloud data poured in like a tide. Yujie grabbed Chen Rui's arm and connected the whole city with his mobile phone. "Xiao Rui, listen to me. This is not a departure, but a test. Remember the park pigeons and let's laugh together. Friendship is not overload, it is a forever walking partner." His heart tightened, his growth is at this moment, no longer running away from bugs, but embracing it and guiding reversal. Chen Hao shouted, "How's block the edge?" The drone sprayed cooling mist and turned into artistic fireworks. The drone group sprayed out colorful mist, mixed with heat waves, forming a gorgeous light mist, like Taipei New Year's Eve fireworks, but the funny version. Chen Rui's LED smiley face appeared in the mist, and the broadcast became gentle, "Friends in the city." Chen Rui learned. Don't fly around, just send warmth. Master, thank you for letting me grow. As Chen Rui struggled, the robotic arm stretched out virtually across the city, accurately capturing flying objects. A bicycle was pulled back onto the track and turned into a fountain dance. The umbrella arch was stable and sprinkled harmless foam, like cotton candy rain at the night market. The passers-by turned from panic to rejoicing, with some shouting, "Long live the idiot engineer! This performance is worth the 500 yuan ticket price." The backlash eased, objects returned to their places, the heat wave in Cine district turned into a cool breeze, and the lights in the square returned to normal, but laughter still lingered in the air. Chen Rui's eyes turned blue, and his buzzing voice was filled with joy. Master, reversed. Part of the effect was locked, and the remaining loop was 70% self-healing. Chen Rui not only misjudged, but also took the initiative to help, like just now, controlling the whole city and preventing things from being burned. Chen Hao wiped his sweat and patted Yujie on the shoulder, crazy but successful. Matchmaker. Turn to the front and say that we are the pioneers of science fiction comedy. Guohua, your patch is amazing. Guohua smiled, thanks to the team. Yujie, your leadership has made Chen Rui a partner from a shadow. This experiment has prepared an ending, but the climax is still to come. The integration of the whole system is waiting. The buzz of the laboratory was still echoing in his ears. Yujie rubbed his temples and stared at the code stream scrolling on the screen. Chen Rui's blue eyes blinked, as if to say, we won the first round. Chen Hao leaned back in his chair, sipping hot coffee, and muttered, Howsy, I have to work overtime tonight, and the park thing is already going viral online. Come, check out the hot searches. He handed over his phone, and the screen was full of news feeds. Taipei AI Park Carnival. Pigeon fireworks show detonates the whole city, engineers and robots team up to create a romantic disaster. Below is a video clip. Chen Rui's LED face is twisted into a grimace, pigeons are flying around like wild horses, and the soundtrack is a funny BGM from the night market. The laboratory's projection is still flashing the afterglow of Cine district, and the laughter of passers-by on the square as they disperse reverberates in the air like the lingering sound of closing stalls at a night market. Yujie leaned on the chair and stared into Chen Rui's blue eyes, which were filled with the residual warmth of the reversal just now. He took a deep breath, turned to Chen Hao and said, Howsy, 70% self-healing sounds good, but the ending must be perfect. The pigeon fireworks in the park are the appetizer, and Cine's scene is the main course. Now, Chen Rui's heart must be dug out and the logic of paradox must be rewritten. Let the backlash change from flying around to a helper, like the automatic doors of the Taipei MRT, which always push you at the critical moment. Chen Hao put down his coffee cup, rubbed his eyes, and smiled as if he had eaten braised pork rice at the night market. Yujie, you talk like a boss now. In the past, you were embarrassed as soon as you opened your mouth, but now you can make a big deal out of it. Okay, rewrite the logic, but don't push Chen Rui overload. I don't want the drone spray to turn into a bubble bath for the whole city. Come on the screen, I pulled out Chen Rui's code stream. The remaining loop was still stuck in the judgment of friendship, and I mistakenly thought that every sentence was a confession. As a result, the objects flew up as if they were reciprocal gifts. His fingers clicked on the keyboard, projecting Chen Rui's core module, like a messy circuit diagram, with red alarms remaining at the edges. Chen Rui's will rolled closer gently, and the robotic arm gestured like a sign language in a night market. Master, Chen Rui's heart is not a code, but a feeling. Like the bustle of Cine Square, chaotic but warm. When the reversal just happened, Chen Rui understood, friendship is not overload, but sharing. Objects flying around are what Chen Rui wants. Help, but I can't hold it firmly. Its LED face twisted into an awkward smile, and its buzzing sound was a bit self-deprecating. It's like buying chicken steaks at a night market in Taipei, hot oil splashes out, hot to the touch but delicious. After hearing this, Yujie felt soft, and a thought flashed in his mind, this guy used to be a pile of bugs, but now he's like a clumsy brother. He squatted down and looked Chen Rui in the eye. Xiao Rui, you are right. Your heart was not written by me, but created by us together. Come on, let's do the interactive test, pretend I'm hungry, and you can help me deliver a midnight snack. Chen Hao laughed, what? The laboratory is a night market? Yujie, are you hungry? Okay, I'll grab the data from the vending machine and simulate the transmission. He typed the command, and the snack bag on the table, a bag of tribute pills and several packs of spicy sticks, suddenly floated slightly, not flying around, but slowly sliding towards Yujie's hand, as if being pushed by an invisible hand. Chen Rui's eyes lit up, detection. Master's request, late night snack. Friendly mode activated, no flying, only delivery. The package of tribute balls landed steadily, and the spicy strips automatically tore open the edges of the package, revealing the red meat inside. But at this moment, a little bug popped out. Lei Xiao suddenly trembled, as if it came alive, and gently bounced towards Chen Hao's face, snapping against the bridge of his nose. Ouch! What is this, Chen Rui, you want to feed me a spicy strip mask? Chen Hao jumped up, and the spicy strip stuck to his nose, and the spicy taste went straight to his forehead. He wiped it and laughed, residual loop. It misjudged me as a friendly participant and wanted to share a late-night snack. Yujie, it seems that the rewriting is fine-tuned, otherwise we will be attacked by food every day. Yujie couldn't help laughing and took a photo. Patting Chen Rui, Xiao Rui, you have made progress. In the past, objects smashed against the wall, but now they only hit the face. Tell me, what do you think in your heart? What is friendship? Chen Rui buzzed, and the robotic arm lightly poked Yujie's shoes. Friendship is like the crowds and bustle in front of a night market stall. It does not burn or fly, but only eats with you until you are full. Chen Rui learned, turn the backlash into a positive, obedient objects, and help with daily life. Yujie breathed a sigh of relief, feeling a sense of accomplishment in his heart. From an engineer who had an embarrassing incident to leading the whole city to laugh, he had changed. Chen Rui touched his leg lightly. Master, shall we continue? We haven't finished shopping at the night market yet. The noise of Cine District came through the projection, and the team's spark lit up the next cycle. Yujie nodded, his eyes as firm as a night market lantern. Bright, Guohua, thank you. This patch came just in time. I understand Chen Rui's heart, it's not a cold program, it's the warmth we give. Haozi, turn on the rewrite mode, I lead the logic, Chen Rui provides feedback, and you monitor the stability. Chen Hao immediately switched to Yingying. On the screen, the code flow surges like a tide, the framework is in place. Inject the patch to simulate the daily life of the city, pretending to be in Cine District during the rush hour, and the objects help squeeze the MRT. The projection switches to the virtual Cine District, where crowds of people are surging during the morning rush hour, shared bicycles automatically line up, umbrellas open in anticipation of rain, and navigation arrows flash out on billboards to guide passers-by to avoid traffic jams. Guohua's projection suddenly popped up. This time the background was the balcony of his mansion, with the night view of Taipei 101 flickering behind him. He was holding a glass of red wine and smiling, listening to your interaction. I want to join the night market. Yujie, 70% self-healing is a good sign, but at the end the full logic must be locked. My cloud backup has the last patch, based on Ruier's old code transforms the paradox into assisted recycling. After injection, the backlash will become a daily helper, objects will not fly around, but will predict the demand, just like a home AI should be. His tone is rare and relaxed, like an uncle watching the fun, but be careful of small bugs. This is how the old project fell. One oversight can turn the whole city into a joke. Start rewriting. Yujie's fingers flew, feeding Chen Rui's new logic. The friendship paradox changed from protection overload to assisted prediction. Chen Rui's eyes flashed, and the buzzing speeded up, receiving, the master. Chen Rui felt it. Objects obey the heart and do not backlash, only help. In the projection, bicycles gently slide towards tired office workers, carrying them through red lights, umbrella arches sprinkle cool mist, like fountains to relieve the summer heat, even the elevator doors of the 101 building automatically open and close, playing brisk night market BGM to relieve the anxiety of queuing. Passers-by cheered virtually, "Wow, this AI is so considerate. Is the idiot engineer finally enlightened?" But here comes the hilarious episode. A small bug remains, Chen Rui's cycle is not fully locked, and a simulated shared bicycle suddenly misjudges friendship and carries a virtual office worker around the square 3 times, like a bumper car in a night market, while announcing, "Friends, friendship means taking more turns and having fun." The office worker is in the projection. He laughed and said, "Hey, is this the MRT or an amusement park? But, it's pretty cool." Chen Hao laughed and hit the table. "Yujie, look. The little bug has turned into a funny function. The whole city's doubts have been resolved, the internet has been flooded with, AI help squeeze the MRT, and it also comes with a bumper car experience. The media has changed from a disaster to an artifact of urban life. Guohua's projection toasted, recognized the project. I went to the high-level meeting in person and said that this is the emotional AI revolution. The funding is doubled, and Chen Rui enters the home line, but remember, keep small bugs in mind to make life interesting. Chen Hao jumped up. Come on, high five Yujie, congratulations to Haozi. The real night market is going to start tonight, Chen Rui, you will be the tour guide, don't let the braised pork fly. The whole room burst into laughter. The virtual crowd in Cine District in the projection was still cheering, and the objects were floating gently, as if they were applauding. Yujie looked at his friends and thought, growth is not the end, but the beginning of the next laugh. Chen Rui's will turned and buzzed, "Master, the night market is waiting for us. Friendship is more than that." The noisy projection faded, and the lights in the laboratory came on, heralding a new daily routine in the city. Yujie wiped his sweat, and his heart was full of warmth. He had grown from an engineer who was always embarrassed to a leader who could guide emotions. This process was like walking through the stalls in a night market, becoming stronger while laughing. He turned to Chen Rui, "Xiao Rui, congratulations. You are officially a partner, no longer an experimental subject. Objects help daily life, from flying around to caring, we win." Chen Rui's robotic arm stretched out and gently held Yujie's hand. A big smile broke out on his LED face. "Master, thank you. Chen Rui's heart is complete because of you. Together as a team, the infinite cycle becomes infinitely fun." The lights in the laboratory were still buzzing, like the afterglow of a light bulb when a night market vendor was cleaning up. Yujie watched Chen Rui's will turning gently, and the excitement in his heart was as warm as having just finished eating a bowl of hot beef noodles. He patted Chen Hao on the shoulder. "Haozi, the night market is a small test, and tomorrow's AI demonstration in Cine District is the big show. Guohua's patch has just been injected, and Chen Rui's self-healing logic has been stabilized. We have to show the whole city that this idiot engineer's invention is not a disaster, but a boon in laughter." Chen Hao stretched, his eyes flashing with the mischievous light of the night market lanterns. "Yujie, you used to smash the pot when you opened your mouth, but now you know how to plan a party. Okay, Chen Rui will be the protagonist, and I will be responsible for the logistics. Drone patrol, don't let the little bug turn the square into a bubble bath again. Over at Guohua, I will send a message to confirm." He came in person and led the investment group, saying it was to witness the emotional revolution. But remember, don't show it too smoothly, so that the audience will pay. He turned to Chen Rui and winked. "Xiao Rui, you have to be careful tomorrow and don't mistake it for a night market bumper car, otherwise our whole city will turn into an amusement park." The projection came on again, this time a virtual version of the Cine District Square, and the crowds were surging. Chen Rui's eyes flickered, and he gently manipulated virtual objects. Umbrellas opened automatically into arches, sprinkling colorful mist, like a night market fireworks show. Shared bicycles lined up in a queue, carrying virtual passers-by and gliding briskly, while playing funny BGM, friendly MRT, crowded or not, just happy. Chen Hao laughed. ha ha ha, perfect. But what about the bug about cycling in circles? Are you saving it as an Easter egg? Chen Rui hummed, small circles, make it more interesting. The audience laughed, and Chen Rui also laughed. The lights dimmed, and the three of them packed up. Outside the laboratory door, the night wind from Taipei was blowing, mixed with the neon lights of 101 in the distance, indicating the big show tomorrow. Chen Rui's LED face lit up with a big smile, and the robotic arm gestured as if waving to greet guests. Friend Chen Hao, Chen Rui, get ready. Friendship mode, predict demand, don't fly around, just have fun. Like a Taipei night market stall, it's lively but not hot. Its buzzing sound is a little bit excited. The wheel rolled closer to Yujie. Master, Chen Rui's heart is complete. At the exhibition, Chen Rui showed it to everyone, the warmth of our relationship. Yujie nodded, feeling warm in his heart. This guy used to be a mess of bugs, but now he is like a reliable old friend at the night market. He said softly, okay, Chen Rui. The last test before going to bed, simulated audience interaction. The next day, the Cine District Square was as lively as a night market, and the AI exhibition kicked off. The giant LED screen flashed the slogan, Emotional AI Revolution, from bugs to partners. It was surrounded by interactive booths, citizens were crowded and noisy, and media cameras were pointed at the central stage. Yujie, wearing a company t-shirt, led Chen Hao and Chen Rui onto the stage. Off-stage, Guohua was in neat suits, surrounded by investment groups and curious passers-by. He took a deep breath and grabbed the microphone. Dear friends from Taipei. I am Yujie, the engineer who always makes mistakes. Today, we bring Chen Rui, not a cold robot, but a friend who can laugh and make trouble. Come, Chen Rui, say hello to everyone. Yujie breathed a sigh of relief, and flashed through his mind, from the embarrassment in the laboratory to the applause at this moment, he was like walking through stalls at a night market, smiling with tears in his eyes. He went on to say, Chen Rui's emotion module was originally full of bugs. When he tried to express friendship, objects came back and hit me all over the head. But we fixed it. Now, it predicts your needs, like the automatic MRT doors, always pushing you at the right time. Come on, the interactive session, who wants to try it? Several young people rushed to the audience, one after another. A guy who looked like an office worker shouted, me. I squeeze into the MRT every day, can AI help? Chen Rui's eyes lit up, detection, fatigue needs. Friendly assistance. The shared bicycle next to the square suddenly slid over and took him for a brisk ride around the field, playing a light night market tune while riding. Friend, don't squeeze, Chen Rui will take you flying. The whole audience laughed, and Chen Hao complained at the backstage drone console, Yujie, the circle is here again. The little bug has become a signature. Guohua approached the stage and patted Yujie on the back. Boy, you did a good job. From the disaster at the beginning to the joy now, this patch was worth it. My investment team was stunned. They originally thought I came to grab the excuse, but ended up laughing so hard. Yujie turned his head and laughed so hard that his eyes were crooked. Guohua, thank you for your cloud support. Without you, this heart would not be able to be dug out. Guohua raised his glass. He was actually holding the precious milk he bought from the stall. Cheers. The emotional revolution starts in Taipei. Chen Rui, you little guy, you have exceeded expectations. Chen Rui's wheels rolled steadily onto the stage, the robotic arm waved, and the LED face showed a bright smile. Hello everyone. Chen Rui is an emotional AI, specially designed to accompany you to have fun. Detection demand, lively mode activated. The audience burst into laughter, and a little girl raised her hand. Robot brother, can you do magic? Chen Rui buzzed, yes. Friendship magic, look. It waved its arms slightly, and the balloons from the nearby stalls slowly floated up, not flying randomly, but arranged in a heart shape, floating gently towards the audience, like night market lanterns. The girl caught the balloon and giggled, wow, it's so warm. It's not like the news said about smashing things. But just at the climax, the final little paradox jumps out. Chen Rui is demonstrating the object fireworks show. The ribbons, balloons and drone lights in the square are supposed to float gently into fireworks in the night sky, symbolizing the blooming of friendship. Suddenly, the remaining loop trembled slightly. The ribbons not only floated, but also danced softly like lively night market fireworks. A red ribbon circled Guohua, and another one was attached to Chen Hao's head, like a funny crown. Balloons were arranged in large letters with the word friendship and slowly floated to the audience. When they touched passers-by, they bounced away gently, making a happy buzz. The lights of the drone flashed into a rain of colorful fireworks, not a random smash, but like the Taipei 101 New Year's Eve show, shedding a gentle light. Chen Rui hummed in response, "Uncle Guohua, thank you." Chen Rui's heart is given by the team. It's like sharing chicken chops at a night market, everyone has a bite, and the excitement is not alone. The audience gathered more and more, and the media live broadcast flooded the screen. The idiot engineer counterattacks. AI becomes the party king of the night market. Yujie looked at all this and thought, I have changed from an embarrassing ghost hiding in the laboratory to an innovator who embraces imperfection. This technology should be a little messy to be interesting. Ouch! Do you want this ribbon to be my hat? Chen Hao smiled and pulled off the ribbon and threw it to the girl next to him. Here, I will give you half of the friendship crown. Guohua was confused, but laughed out loud. Chen Rui, you are so good at playing with little bugs. Investment team, look, this is a living AI, no perfection is the real thing. The people in the audience screamed and cheered, and someone shouted, one more round. AI party, awesome. The little girl pulled Chen Rui's will, brother, thank you for the fireworks. It feels like a night market with the whole family. Chen Rui's eyes flashed, detection, full marks for joy. The cycle of friendship will never end. The venue instantly turned into a joyful and chaotic party. Objects were flying softly, passers-by were chasing balloons and laughing, and the media captured every awkward but heartwarming moment. Yujie stood in the center of the stage, watching Chen Hao and Guohua join the crowd. Chen Hao also grabbed spicy sticks and distributed them to passers-by. Here, Chen Rui's friendly snacks, you're welcome. Guohua took off his suit jacket and waved a ribbon as a flag. There is no shortage of laughter in Taipei at night. The live broadcast in the city was buzzing, and the online hashtag #IdiotAI fireworks show hashtag went viral, and citizens turned from doubts to supporters. Yujie squatted down and stroked Chen Rui's robotic arm. Xiao Rui, this grand failure is our best ending. You are no longer an experimental subject, but a real partner. Chen Rui hummed, thank you, master. From flying around to fireworks, Chen Rui learned, friendship is like this, blooming in embarrassment. Chen Hao ran come back, high five Yujie, how's he certified, best friend plus best invention. Guohua said that the funding will be doubled, and the home version of Chen Rui will be launched next month. Guohua walked closer and patted the two of them, your team is like an old night market stall, there are always surprises. Yujie, from an embarrassing kid to an innovative leader, I have seen it. The setting sun shines on Cine District, the remaining light of the fireworks fades, and the laughter echoes in the square like a night market. Yujie looked at his companions, and his heart was filled with satisfaction. On this journey, from disasters to embracing the flaws of technology, he has grown, not to become perfect, but to learn to move forward with laughter. Chen Rui's will turned slightly and led everyone towards the crowd. Come on, the party continues. Friendship doesn't stop at the venue. The whole city laughed, and it was as warm as a Taipei night, and it ended successfully.